On
the
deck.
production quality.
Okay, am I leaking anything here? No. Perfect. Let's do this. Let's do this, and let's do... Perfect.
Okay, we're gonna have to grab him now. Okay, separate thing. Hang on. We got
Was there
this.
another person joining?
No, it's you. I
Okay,
have to do
cool.
the same thing you're doing right now. Is basically what I'm saying.
Sweet.
Full screen. Okay, which is a little bit interesting. Hang on.
Okay.
Reset.
Perfect. You're in.
Okay, I'm getting you to.
Chat, where should I put Devin? I think you should block up you fuckers. No cap.
That's what I do. Yeah. I just block chat. Get him out of here.
This will be good. Here we go. Excellent. All right. Devin, what are you drinking?
I drink green tea. It's my big thing.
Okay.
Especially in the
I
mornings.
respect it.
It is a very thoughtful drink in the sense that...
Is it? Why?
So, has a lot of cognitive benefits, but I also drink it for general health. It's like one of the healthiest drinks you can drink. And it's like, I think I like it over coffee because it doesn't have the same edge. Are you a coffee drinker?
No, I don't drink coffee or tea like regularly.
Really?
If I'm caffeining up, I take these caffeine mints actually.
Oh, tell me about it. Okay.
So they're like little caffeine mints. It's like 20 milligrams per caffeine. I mean per mint. And so I typically like pop. Oh wait, no, it's 40 per mint. Sorry.
40.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's 40 milligrams per mint. I'll just like pop one, and like it's an easy way to get it done without like. I have this issue like where when I like eat things or drink things and my teeth start feeling like funny, like it just throws off my entire mood.
40 is about the same as a cup of green tea. So
40,
like,
okay. So yeah, 1 minute's cup. Yeah.
Cup of coffee would be like 85 to 90, and then a single cup of green tea would be like 35. But green tea has a component called L-theanine, which is like kind of like evens out a caffeine spike, right? So normally you'd kind of be like a little bit jittery because of coffee, but L-theanine kind of evens it out.
Gotcha.
So it's like a good like pickup in the morning, but it's not like obnoxious. Doesn't like you don't crash, you don't like take over your day. So I've actually got really big into this like in college, and I did like a bunch of I bought a bunch of stuff for it. Now I have like a whole vendor in like China and shit for it and all this stuff. As you switch.
Oh damn.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, I'm just
repositioning.
I think some of my chat had a good idea to go full cam and then just have me and you in full cam.
Yeah, it's a good
idea. I
idea.
like that idea.
That'll be...
There you go, chat.
Transition you over here then. Because I gotta switch my camera if you do. Let's see. Okay.
Oh, does there wait, are you grabbing me from stream?
I'm grabbing you from Discord. I could grab you from stream, but that's actually...
Oh no, this is perfect then.
Maybe a better idea. Yeah.
Oh wait, so does this just show my OBS like...
OBS camera does. You could switch the you can switch it over, but I'm actually just gonna play you from stream. Well, no, wait, that'll be delayed. It's fine. Yeah, this is good. But because you guys can edit it in post. You'll be fine. You'll live. It'll be all right. All right. Nobody cares. Okay. Yeah. So I'll tell you like a little bit about like what this is, which I probably should have done, but I feel like you've got it. I believe that success leaves clues. And a while back, I wanted to like start kind of like a weekly or biweekly thing where I would talk to people about what were sort of the components that made them get to where they are. Because I think there's these sort of like drives and motivations that are ubiquitous across a lot of different people. So like you see the same thing show up over and over again. And when you start to like distill that from like different people, everybody has these like different thoughts and approaches in a different way. It can be really, really beneficial. And then like when I was talking to you on Scuffed, I was like, oh shit, like I realized that you're a really thoughtful person, right? And that you are super deliberate in the things that you do. So I'm like really interested in just kind of talking about that and talking about, and I'm not like unprepared. Like we probably got like 5 or 6 pages of notes for this.
Oh shit.
And then I also have at the end of this, like a whole entire research document of like your stats, trajectories, like everything that you've done, where it's going. And hopefully that's like useful to you as you kind of consider your brand in the next like few years.
Okay.
That's where it's at.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. I thought you'd be into it,
Yeah.
and maybe a good place to start is just like how you started and like how you think about this.
Shit. So I started started like when things started to pick up.
What's that mean?
Like, so I guess like there's me and how I like started in general, like
Mhm.
with like this Twitch account and shit. And then there's like when things started picking up, which is like, when I started playing Fortnite and where that took.
So what year did you actually start? Like, well, let's see what year you actually started.
Streaming.
Yeah.
So I started streaming before this account. I streamed on another
Oh,
account on
really?
Twitch. Yeah, that a lot of people don't know about. I used to stream like League of Legends, like No Cam, and like some other like survival games and bullshit like a while back. I think like that was like maybe like 2015, 2016. And then I started this Twitch account senior year of high school, or like maybe like the summer of senior year of high school.
Yeah.
Like before the senior year started in 2017 or like 2016.
What? So I'm looking at your first stream I've ever seen. Okay, it's probably further back because I think the API only records like till like November 18th, 2016. So you probably went back another year.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have 25 viewers in 2016.
And what was I playing?
Let's see. You're
Was
playing.
it Paragon?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the game that that's the game that I started streaming on this account with basically. Was Paragon. It was
What is
another Epic
Paragon?
Games. So Paragon is a third person MOBA, sort of like Smite, but where you have like freedom of movement, like in every direction, up, down, whatever. Like the character's abilities are like kind of like off the rails in terms of movement.
Mhm.
And like it's a game that ended up dying, but it was fun while playing it, and I was able to like build like a little community that I tricked myself into thinking that like I was like, hey, let's see where this goes, and decided to not go to college off of that.
Real, really? You decided like right then, like when you had like 30 or 40 viewers?
Well, I think maybe it was trending closer to like 70, but yeah, like by the time that I decided,
Yeah.
but yeah. So basically, out of high school, senior year is coming up. I got admitted to go to Wayne State for like computer science. And I was just like, I kind of got this thing going on, and I really enjoy it. It's something I've really always wanted to do. I've like made YouTube videos as like a kid since like middle school, and like content creation has always been something that's like really interesting for me, and something that I thought that I've always wanted to do.
Mhm.
And then in high school, I literally I called my family and I sat them all down one day and I said, you know what? Give me 2 years, and I'm doing this every single day, and if I make it, I won't look back and regret not pursuing it. And if I don't, then I'll just go back to school and I'll be 2 years behind. Like fuck it. Like I wasn't throwing away any like like crazy opportunities of college. I didn't have any like crazy what do they call them?
Well, it's like
I'm
opportunity
blanking on the word.
cost, right?
When you yeah when
Yeah.
you have what's the word when you scholarship. Sorry, yeah,
Oh, okay,
scholarship.
okay.
I didn't have any like crazy scholarships or anything like that either. So I decided, yeah, I just told my family like, give me 2 years, and it works out. It works out. And after that, like Fortnite blew up, literally like that year of, and it was selling since.
Okay, I have so many good. That's awesome. I didn't know this backstory at all. Okay, first of all, how the hell did you stay this consistent right away? Why you literally stream pretty much every day and since you started with like super serious, almost never more than a couple days off.
Um,
So you immediately approach this from like a super consistent standpoint.
yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of at the start, like I said, I gave myself 2 years, and I knew that like if it's either I do it or I don't,
Mhm.
and I think like I'm the type of person where if I'm going to do something, I'm going to commit myself to it. And I've talked to this with like a few of my friends that like, make decisions and kind of like have difficulty like fully committing to it. And
Yeah.
I'm very much on like the opposite side of the spectrum where like if I know that I'm buckling down for something and I'm going to do it, like I'm going to commit to it and try to like give it my. So I sort of had that mentality like when I've initially started.
What do you you see you had that for like other things in your life?
Yeah, well, sort of, kind of. So I was before people are probably laugh at this, but before before COVID started and stuff, I was actually doing like parkour training and parkour classes
Hell yeah.
regularly. And one of the things that like my trainer said to like literally the entire class while I was there, he was like, you have different types of students. You have a student that like won't really try anything, but that's cool. They'll go at their own pace. You'll have a student that like will kind of follow along, and then you have students like Ali, where he'll just fucking do shit and he'll do shit and push the limits, and that's fucking crazy. Be like him, but like also like kind of like don't be like him. So I guess that was like another way. And if anyone here that does like free running training or like parkour training, like the number one thing that people fuck up with is the mental aspect of it, or like the committing aspect to it. It's like, okay, you're gonna count down to 1 and you're gonna fucking jump. So that's like, I think that's another area of my life where it like transitioned.
There's a huge amount of trust that comes in it too. I did free running for a while, and it was like a kind of natural transition from. I used to do competitive martial arts,
Mhm.
and I like was kind of worried about getting injured as I got older, so I transitioned into that, and then
Yeah.
got way too old for like, dude, you just age out of shit. So now I'm in like Tai Chi and shit like that because I'm like fucking 100 years old. I do jujitsu. Jujitsu is like the combat sport you retire into. I feel like, and
Yeah.
yeah, and like
I want to do jujitsu actually.
jujitsu's awesome, man. It's
I
like,
sparred once with my brother-in-law when I went like back home for Thanksgiving like 2 years ago.
yeah,
And I was so out of like shape, dude.
oh
I was
yeah.
like dying on the pad.
You learn a lot. Is he a jujitsu player?
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's trained like a lot. He was like, don't worry, like, don't worry, I'll go 50% on you. Don't worry. And even his 50%, I was like,
yeah. You will
like
get
after we were done sparring for 5 minutes.
you,
5 minutes, I was dead on the floor, man.
you will get so humbled by jujitsu. Like it's actually crazy. Like I trained like
Yeah.
so far for about 3 or 4 years. I feel like I am not even at like the tip of the iceberg as far as like that
Mhm.
art goes. And I regularly just get absolutely demolished by people that roll more than me. It's just it's
I
insane.
see.
Yeah, and that's a real you'll really like it. And it's like it's safe enough too that like you're not gonna get like seriously injured in a way that would like stop you from streaming and stuff like that. Whereas like
Mhm.
stand up arts, like you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
But parkour is like one of those things where you're constantly breaking through these like fear barriers because
Yeah.
you're like I think I can't do this. There's no way I can make this. But like you do it in a gym setting?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's a
Or I
really
was training in
good
a gym
place
setting.
because you can like take really crazy falls and like realize you're gonna be okay and shit like that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So do you think that like there was so you've had this like attitude about trying things where you just will try something but then you will stick with it also. Like what I'm interested in is going through all of like 2017. Man, your
Mhm.
story is even more interesting than I thought it would be because actually like all through 2017 like your numbers weren't crazy, right?
Yeah.
But you still stayed
Uh-huh.
like you were hovering around like 100 viewers most of the time every
Mhm.
day, but you
Yeah, that
still
was like
stayed consistent.
early Fortnite, I think. Early
Okay.
Fortnite days is when I started picking up to like early 100, 200.
Yeah, and I'm seeing like shit start to pop off around like December 2017.
Mhm.
But what's interesting to me is that time period before then, like let's say January to like November 2017, where you
Mhm.
literally have no idea if this is going to pick up, but you go an entire year every single day for at
Oh
least,
yeah, that was like a thing that I
yeah.
did actually. Like for my senior year, like leading up to it, I remember just sitting down and like this is like once like so I lived in like my brother's apartment and I like really wanted to fucking stream, but I couldn't because it was like literally my setup was like in the living room. We were like moving houses, so we were there for like my entire like junior year of high school, I think.
Yeah.
And I like really wanted to stream, but yeah, I just couldn't because of the noise and stuff, and just having my family in the background was terrible. But but I remember like right as soon as we moved into like this house that we finally got, I literally told myself I was like, I'm gonna set myself out to stream for every day of the year, and I
Mhm.
did that up to like I think 200 something days, and then I had to take a trip to like Epic Games headquarters for like a little like interview thing,
Mhm.
and then I reset it, and then I actually accomplished it full
Oh,
365.
so you went 200 days and then you actually went to 0, then you went 365 days.
Yeah.
Damn. Oh, so what was like why what was your like feeling from 2017 like that whole year? You had no guarantee of success at this point. Like it's easier for people to look back on like, well, look at him now. Like he's like, but like they
Yeah.
don't realize like hindsight wise, you had no idea what was going to happen. Well, you didn't know you're gonna
Hmm.
you get to this point, right? Like at that point, but you still stayed in the game. Well, you're so
Yeah.
much more consistent. Like, what was the mindset behind that? Well, you never looked at this as like any kind of like potential failure option. You just always saw the future, or what happened?
I was I think I was definitely more focused on what everything that it could be than everything that it couldn't. And I think that made me not like fear failure as much and is what like driven me to like be so fucking consistent during those times.
What did you think it could be?
Uh just something that I could do like nowhere near the fucking nowhere near the level that it's all at now and like the opportunities that it's given me now. But I thought, maybe I could like, make make like 100K and live like, and be able to like support myself and live in Michigan and be all right and like not have to worry about like bills and shit.
That was the goal. Was like full
Yeah,
time
that was pretty
income.
much the goal. Yeah.
Okay, and you
The
had
goal
a
was never like fame and fucking like the crazy levels that it like ended up getting to, like especially like during like the Fortnite. Because I was like in high school, I was like actually like I was one of the kids that was just like anti fucking social media. Like I was like shit. Like
what?
I didn't really ever post on social media. I never liked the idea of being like famous or
Mhm.
anything like that. It was just like not unappealing. It was just something that I never desired compared to like other kids.
You didn't use social media when you were in high school.
Mm, not really.
Hmm.
Like I never like posted regularly or had a ton of like social media friends
There's a real
compared to like other high schoolers in my area. I feel like I was definitely like on the lower spectrum of like social media usage.
what was your like? Were you resistant to it, or did you have like was there something deliberate thought in that? Because I vibe with that super hard.
Mm, I think I think in a way I was sort of resistant to it. I sort of had like this really like arrogant, edgy mentality towards like towards like I guess like the popular figures in society.
Hmm.
So like I was like, man, fuck this shit. Like these guys aren't doing good for the world. Like I don't want to be on these fucking platforms. But I think I've definitely grown out of that in a lot of ways. So I think that was definitely like the main thing about
I think a lot about social media and just kind of like the widespread amount of suffering that it probably causes as a net negative. It's probably not good when we look at everything in like a
it.
in
Mhm.
like a macrocosm. What's interesting is I think about you and I've kind of like followed what you've done on social media, and there's a lot more to talk about that. But like you you the way I describe this is the way I describe a Zen quote, which is you're in the world but you're not of it. Which is like recently you made that decision on Twitter, for example, to unfollow everybody, right?
Mhm.
I'm really interested in that and like your general mindset about social media now that you're like where you're at now, because like you at one hand have this platform which you could use for whatever you want, right? Like even in the future,
Mhm.
maybe you have some kind of like philanthropic or like altruistic idea that you want to use it for, but right now you have it like this just massive audience, and yet you're not like engaged with it spiritually, it feels like, which is good. Like you're not mentally attached to like what people are sending at you. Like what's your
Yeah.
mindset on that?
Could we break it down to a
Yeah, that's a lot of questions.
to another question or
um
like a series of questions starting with one?
starting with why did you unfollow
Yeah.
everybody on social media?
Why?
Yeah.
Um.
Or basically almost everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It got to a point where I started recognizing a lot of like just sadness brought into it and like a lot of like negative thoughts as I was scrolling down and seeing what was going on in people's lives.
Mhm.
Like even people that I like really appreciate and like have been friends with and have like watched grow over time. Cause I don't think I was like really content or happy with like what I had going on. And sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. But I think like being on social media like really like doubles down on that fucking like that like notion of like, okay, I'm here and I don't like it. But like then you go and you like scroll down, you know, like before bed for like fucking an hour, 30 minutes, and you're just like, fuck, like this person has hit this number today, and this person hit this number today, and I used to hit those numbers. And like this is fucking like this doesn't make me feel good. And I would think about it more like that than being like proud and happy for that person. And right as soon as I recognized that, I was like, okay, I gotta fucking stop this. Like this can't go on.
So you found yourself like comparing yourself despite your level of success.
Comparing myself and like almost being like envious, like towards other people's success, which
Yeah.
is like terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people don't realize like they say, well, okay, at your level of achievement, like you must not feel those things. But the thing is like that bar never ends. It's this ever consuming thing that no matter like where I've had the exact same experience and had to make the exact same decision. Although I've done it in like a weird way. Like I have on my phone, if I want to go to any
Mhm.
social media app, I have to scroll all the way over on my phone, 8 pages, and I have a folder called addiction that then has like all of my actual apps like Twitter, Discord, Reddit, Instagram, right? So like I have to like I fix like a bunch of like
I
my
see that.
consciousness like so that I have to like really go very far to access these things, and they're not on my computer or anything like that. Um,
Mhm.
and because of the same experience, it's like I'll go on Instagram or Twitter and I'll be like, okay, here's all these people that are like more beautiful than me, have more money than me, are more successful than me, are living their literal best moment in their life. Like even if their entire life is dog shit, they're posting the one that
Mhm.
actually is like super impactful to them. And so you're constantly like
Yeah.
comparing yourself and like stacking blocks when it doesn't matter. Like you just have to be in your own game.
Yeah.
Hmm. So what is your like? Do you have a deliberate social media strategy? Like do you consciously say I'm going to do this many tweets per day? I'm going to do this many like do you have that kind of thing?
No.
So do you try to hit any metrics or numbers?
No.
It's not a
Well,
bad
okay,
thing.
well,
Same
I
as
guess like no,
yeah.
no. So like when I do make a tweet,
Hmm.
I do try to like take into consideration like what would be like funny or whatever so that it does like I do enjoy seeing tweets hit like 10, 20, 30K like likes. But I don't have like okay, I'm shooting for this number. I'm gonna go and craft like 20 drafts of what I think would work, and then I'm gonna like cut it down to like this many drafts, and let's see what this person thinks about this one. I'm not that like deliberate about this.
Do you have like a feeling where you're like, okay, if I haven't tweeted in a while and like I'm like I need to get out there. Do you ever have that like sense about it?
I used to, but not anymore.
Why not?
Not anymore at all. I think that I'm just like I think I'm really like I've grown past that like really toxic in a like relationship with social media where like I really don't want it to be something that like controls me,
Hmm.
and I don't ever want to feel like so this is like a personal thing where I don't ever want to feel like I'm dependent on something that's like a substance or an application, something that's like not me or like another like person in like a meaningful manner. And I think like being dependent on like that feeling of like, oh, I need to post right now. Like this is calling me. I'm not using it. It's something that I like just personally am really unattracted toward, or that I've like developed in a like a disliking toward in the past like year or so.
In the past year.
Yeah, I would say so.
So how does that change your relationship with social media going forward, do you think?
Mm, I think I like you sort of said, I kind of want to be someone that like whatever that quote you said was pretty good. Like I'm in the universe, I'm not of it, or like
Yeah.
what was that? What it
Yeah,
was?
yeah.
Yeah,
You're in the world, you're not of it. I like that's a
yeah,
way smarter person
and
than me said
that's
that.
yeah, that's sort of how I want to go about it. And as well, like when it comes to me and like this shit that I post on social media, like there's a lot of thought behind like what I post and what I don't post, um, regarding my life, or like just thinking and being considerate of like the audience or the people that are consuming what I'm putting out there. So I put a lot of thought into that, and that's another reason why I think like I'm okay with being less active on social media, or less.
Like prolific, like posting all the time, like
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
have like do you have any kind of like desire to get to certain numbers anymore? Or did you ever? Like were you ever like, I want 100,000 followers on Twitter, or I want X number of followers here? Did you ever set those kind of
Uh,
goals?
I did before,
Mhm.
and then nowadays I actually realized this recently. Like sometimes I sit down and I think, and I'm like, I wonder if I would feel better if I did set those goals for myself and like actively work toward them.
Mhm.
But then like I know, but like regularly on like my day to day, I just don't care really about like followers anymore, like goals like that.
Do you have any like and this is like setting up for like another discussion, but it's like, do you have any like
Mhm.
financial like goals? Like, okay, I need to hit like this number per month, or like this number per year, or are you solid?
Mm, I don't set out financial goals for myself either.
This is cool. So, okay, this is neat. Because here's how I see this. I think there's sort of
Mhm.
two ways to go about things. Like, um, a lot of people do set goals, and that helps them get to become successful. But a lot of
Mhm.
other people, I think, and this is something that I understand. Maybe you can like, if this is wrong, but this is like my perception of you, because I've really started changing this way too, which is like I'm like, I seem like a stats and analyst guy, and I am, right? Like I have a lot of these like a lot of projections, like a lot of like indicators and things like that. But at the same time, when it
Mhm.
kind of comes down to it and we distill it, I think you just want to like appear this day and create the absolute best thing you can in as much of a vacuum as you possibly can, right? So like I don't. So one of the things I stopped doing, for example, was look at my view count when I stream. And
Yeah, I stopped doing that too.
oh, you did.
Yeah,
So what was your
I was
thought
actually
process behind that?
I was actually when we were doing I think we did the Valorant watch party for the finals, and we hit like 135K. I didn't know till like a day after.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and
and I was
so
like, wow,
so
that's fucking crazy.
did you do that because you wanted to create the same level of content for like 500 people that you did for like 10,000, for example?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
missed having the mentality. Like I had that mentality going into it when I started, and I think that's why I also was like successful with it. And I kind of miss having that. And I think I started covering it up again, like maybe like 6 months ago. And I wanted to have like that same like relationship with it again, or like the same like philosophy on creating and on like on streaming.
mhm,
And I realized that I lost that. And I think something else as well that's really hard is like I have a lot of people that like really enjoyed the glory days of myth, right? They
what's the
really enjoyed they
okay,
really enjoyed the Fortnite days where I was topping and getting 50K to it's 40 50K regularly, like a month and whatever.
uh
And it like really bothers me when, and I know that they don't come from like a bad place when they come into my chat and say it, but like it genuinely bothers me when people come into chat and like want to talk about my viewership exclusively, and
yeah,
just talk about, yo, we're what happened, or like they'll be like, yeah, what happened from then till now, and so that was another reason why I was like, I'm just not gonna look at it. I just can't. Like I
yeah,
have fun doing this, but I have fun doing this when it's not. I have fun doing this when it's not about the fucking like viewer count all the time.
mhm,
I have the most fun doing this when me and my chat are on like a same wavelength,
mhm,
and we're having such a good fucking time doing whatever, like whether that's just like listening to music, jamming out in Valorant, doing the coach myth shit, and doing the watch parties. Like I care more about that than being miserable and having like a much larger like
audience.
audience. Yeah.
The problem with Twitch is that you can't disconnect like you can with other platforms. So you are
Yeah.
constantly locked into like those things like viewer, like Twitch does a very good job of like you've got chat in front of you at all times, right? So you're just beholden to that. And then you also have like average viewer count. And like we put a huge amount of importance on viewer count on this
Mhm.
platform. But if you actually break it down from a brand perspective, it's actually like not really the most important indicator. Like in the agency world, we value things like follower count, for example, like progressive follower count over long periods of time that demonstrates growth. That then we do like something like concurrent viewership, for example. And like I think I think the trouble. I think I totally agree. Is like I came to the same conclusion where I was like, okay, a- as long as I'm thinking about the amount of viewers that I have, or the amount of subs, or like if there's any other reason than just the fact that like I'm coming here for a good vibe to try to provide value, that's the wrong reason to be here.
Mhm.
And so I tried to cut that out. And like, thank God the Twitch dashboard like has like a hide viewer option.
Mhm.
Cause I would just neurotically check that shit all the time. And then like my viewership is down 50% or up 50%. And now I'm gaming my system. And like, that's just a really interesting mindset that like, that you've taken on for like Twitch, I think as a platform, is really neurotic if you let it be because you'll constantly compare yourselves to
What does the
other.
term neurotic mean?
So neurotic means like, you'll get in your head about it and you'll
Okay,
like repeatedly run scenarios and like think about things that stress you out. So you'll be like,
got
fuck,
it.
like this other Fortnite guy's like way more successful. Be like, oh, I'm playing Valorant now. And like, I'm to that. Like, here's like, so Maya had a really good clip of this and explained it really well. She's like,
Mhm.
let's imagine that you have 1,000 viewers. Okay. You go up, you're 1,000 right now. Something happens. You have some
Mhm.
like epic content. You go to 3,000. Okay. So now you're killing it. And like, maybe you got some Reddit threads or something like that. But the hype ends and now you're down to 2,000. So
Mhm.
what ends up happening is you feel like shit because you're at 2,000, but you actually gained 1,000 viewers.
Yeah.
You went up almost 100%, right? You doubled your
Mhm.
viewership, but you feel terrible because you were at that peak. And like the nature of Twitch is like you peak out here and then you like cut a little bit and then you peak again later.
Mhm.
And it's like you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I say neurotic, I mean it's this never ending like uh game you play in your head where like nothing is ever good enough. And I think the only way to actually do anything is to step back from that and say, okay, like what the hell am I here for? And then let's do that
Mhm.
in a vacuum, like without anybody else impacting it as much as possible. I see that's like kind of what you've done.
Tried. Trying to do in a way, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like yeah. I'd say like I don't really do a fine job with like keeping track of what's popular and following that to like a science and do things based off of like what's trending necessarily. I think a lot of the things that work on my channel and that
Mhm.
I'm comfortable doing myself are things that like you wouldn't really expect streamers to just like do. Like for example, me dressing up as a fucking coach character and coaching our TSM team through like the finals and being that have that being like a character live. Like that's not like a it's not like a meta or like a trend thing to do. Um, but I find myself doing a lot more of that type of stuff, and it makes me happier overall. I think
Do you have any plans for like how you plan stuff like that? Is it all spur of the moment, or are you ever like, okay, I want to like create something like this deliberately?
it. I mean, the idea comes into your mind spur of the moment in a way, and then I mean, I'll go through. Okay, I'll like go through like, okay, how do I want to approach this character? What do I want them to wear? How do I want them to sound like? Um, and I'll go through that process of just thinking about it, going through Amazon and buying things and trying out different things.
How did you learn? This is gonna sound like a really dumb question, but it's actually like really important. How did you learn to be
Mhm.
funny? Yeah, I told you it's gonna sound. I even preambled it.
Um, it's funny because I don't really consider myself as like a very funny person or
Hmm.
like a funny person in general.
Everyone in your chat's like,
That's
he's
like a hard
not
question.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah, funny. Yeah. um, but I think to you fucking chat, fuck off. I'll
Yeah.
take Coach Myth away. All right. So I am funny. Fuck you. But I don't know. I don't know. I think like there's That's hard. I think a lot of it has to do with like my upbringing, maybe,
Okay.
and then combine that with like the things that I'm interested in doing in this space, which sometimes I'm gonna want to fucking come up. Like I think I have like this. It's really hard for me to be a single like person at times.
Hmm.
I feel like there are days where I'm just like this. I'm fucking going off the walls, like Joker, cracking jokes, having a good time. There are days where I'm super serious. There are days where I want to be like the Coach Myth character, and I don't even want to be myself for the day. Um, and then, but then, like for example, I'll look at other streamers. Like I think a really good example is like I'll look at Train,
Yeah.
and I feel like Train is like so consistently like
Authentic.
this one fucking like person, and it's him, and it's true, and it like shocks me because I look at that and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, that's like, it, I just can't do it. Like I'm too like not out of the box, but just I can't do that like long enough
Hmm.
to where it'll make me feel good about what I'm doing. If that makes sense.
What's
Like I'll
interesting?
just get bored.
Oh,
But
okay.
that's like, and it's not like a thing to train because that's just who Train is. But
Exactly.
I'm just not that way, right? So I'm just like there'll be some days where like I'll have messages in my chat and be like, "Yo, Myth, are you down? Like, are you okay, dude? You seem sad." I'm like, "No, I'm just focusing on the game today."
Yeah.
I'm like, "It's just a focus day, bro." Like,
It's
but then there are other days like where I mean, I get it. I honestly completely understand how it could be really fucking confusing from like my viewers' perspective because it's like there'll be other days where I'll be fucking over here flossing, doing the fucking worm on the ground after every kill that I get in a game, talking about Joe Schmo doing blow. But yeah, then there'll be like just like chilled, like completely chill days. So it goes from like I play in like polar opposites depending on the day, back and forth, and it's just like who I am.
What's interesting is if you ask Train, he would say he is the person with the personality disorder, right? Like it's interesting that
Really?
you're 100%.
Oh
Like
wow.
yeah, like Train thinks he's bipolar as hell. Like for us, Train appears as
Mhm.
like a very consistent individual, right? Like I
Yeah.
expect that guy to just fully tell me every way to suck his dick if he doesn't agree with something, like every time, right? And
Yeah.
like, but to him, he has these like really wide sweeps of emotion and feeling that he feels like two different people at any
Mhm.
given time. And I think that's like I think ranges of emotion are something like we don't give enough credit to people to have. Like having different days
Yeah.
like makes you feel like you're insane, but it's just like a really normal thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's really normal as well. And that's
Hmm.
what I've kind of gotten. I've taken like a better stance at trying to just like accept that, I think,
Yeah. So you
more
kind
and
of
more.
like you so you can show up more authentically every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. They're like, did you used to like feel like you had to be something for stream, like you had to be like a certain personality?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was that about?
Well, it was about thinking. So, like, my perspective from it is like, okay, if I'm gonna be, if I am here to entertain, then there's like and if I'm here to entertain and to build a brand,
Mhm.
then what makes the most sense is doing my best to appear or to come online in a way that's still authentic to me, but is consistent and entertaining to the people that are watching.
How did you figure out like that character? But like what was the sort of like process behind thinking that through?
Um,
Because you're pretty good at like
I guess it was just looking at other people and the way that they function and like other creators in the space. So I feel like a lot of other creators have a lot more. I guess I don't feel this way much now compared to before, but before I really felt like whenever I would tune into a stream, I was very sure about like the type of stream that I was going to get based on the streamer that I was watching. So if
okay.
I tune into like a Pokimane stream, like I kind of like I know what Pokimane stream is, like essentially. If I'm tuning into Nick Merck's stream, like I understand who Nick Merck's is and like the Nick Merck stream that I'm gonna get. If I tune into fucking Ninja stream, like I'm very sure of like the stream that I'm gonna get and the Ninja that I'm gonna get.
100%.
But when it came to myself, I did not feel like I gave that same. Um, I felt like I wasn't able to think the same things about myself. And like when I thought about, if I'm tuning into my stream, like I kind of just fucking roll the dice and like it's you get what you get. It's
Uh,
like
I look at okay, so in a really weird way, that actually makes you into a consistent broadcast, right?
that's
Like,
exactly
yeah,
what I
yeah,
thought. And that's exactly why I don't give a fuck about that anymore. Because
yeah.
I actually realized I was like, that actually takes me out of a boundary that people consistently like play in. And and I mean, I don't know where the fuck it's gonna go or where it's gonna lead, but it may be really fucking good, or it may just not be the fucking meta. It may not be what people like. But I think as I've sort of embraced it more and accepted it, there's been an increase of people that are just like more genuinely there, like for me.
Mhm.
And I think that's a good thing.
It totally is. Yeah, I would say having a core community of people is way better than like having. I think back because you said you started streaming League of Legends. Is that
Well,
right?
like, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you,
No,
but
please.
to
Yeah,
add to that note,
yeah.
that I think is really important. I've also felt like there's been a a more there's like a more distinctive vibe when you come to my channel, I guess. Now that I've like sort of embraced that more and more.
Huh.
And then we could go on with your
Well. So I was
with your
gonna
stuff.
say. So you started streaming League of Legends originally on like an old account, right?
Mhm.
Oh, and in 2012, I was a full-time League of Legends streamer before I ever like started any kind of businesses or anything like in the space or anything like that.
Mhm.
And what I saw was like a lot of people who would build their brand full-time on League of Legends, get a ton of viewership as a result of that. And like to this day, some of them are still there, just like slowly descending into madness because they've made that compromise, right? Instead of
Mhm.
like building that core community of and like I remember like I had a very like vivid moment where I like woke up. I'd been streaming League of Legends for like 3 years every day, and I like just crawled under my desk and just like curled up and like started like it's like is it just like this
Huh.
yeah, it was like really dramatic, man. Like I was just like I had like a straight up like self therapy moment because I was just this fucking game was driving me so fucking insane.
Yeah.
It's like it is so many times you could die in a fire or get told to, and and like I eventually was like I can't do this anymore. Like I got to switch to something
Mhm.
else, and like I lost like 90% of my subs and viewership
Yeah.
that day, and it took maybe
Mhm.
5 more years to come back after that.
Mhm.
So I think in the same way you've started to become more comfortable with that as well. Like you probably know the game you could do to maximize your viewership, but it's probably the mental that like it's not worth it to you. Like you're willing to where do you sit on that? There's a lot. Sorry. But like I guess the question is you seem more comfortable now compromising quality, community, and content instead of just like grinding for the highest amount of possible viewership and audience.
Yeah, I suppose, but I also don't know, like I think where I stand now is I don't know what the fuck would bring me the most. Like I'm sort of in like a limbo phase where I'm just like, I really don't know what directory I would go to or what content I would make that would like bring me the most.
Really?
Yeah.
Um okay, so you're like an insanely good like FPS gamer, right? I don't know how to like rank FPS
Yeah.
people. What
Well, I think I'm like yeah, I'm good at FPS games.
okay. And you're
Yeah.
like one of the best people at it though. I mean, right?
I think that's a hard title to slap on myself. I don't know about that.
Okay, so like what I'm saying is like when a new FPS game comes out, you're one of the
Mhm.
most like go-to people for it, I'd assume.
I mean, actually, yeah, that's pretty true.
Okay, cool. Okay.
I think
So
I think I think now I've sort of slotted into that. Yeah.
yeah. So that's more or less the answer would be like, are you gonna play Overwatch 2, for example? Which I think is like the next on the horizon for
I didn't even know if Overwatch 2 when it was going to come out, but I mean, yeah, I think
yeah.
I think like now, and I think I do know that like FPS games are like my love and passion, and that's the thing that like kind of boosts me up and boosts like viewership for me.
Yeah. So is it so much that you're just in a place right now where you don't know how to cultivate those that audience, or that you're just less interested in doing so, or both?
I think it's more so it's like what FPS games are out
Okay.
to like
Mhm.
play or to like branch off into. Because I think I do know how to like cultivate an audience in those games. I think like I think as I've transitioned from different games, I've done a damn good job of like migrating from FPS game to FPS game. I mean, and, you know, Fortnite was the first one, obviously, but then making the transition over. I mean, even fuck, dude, I was killing it um, before Modern Warfare blew up.
Mhm.
Like before even BR came up, like I was doing really well, just like in the multiplayer directory.
Yeah.
But then even when BR came out, I was like one of the, I think I was like the first Fortnite streamer that played Modern Warfare Battle Royale like full time, like every day, 12 hours. And then I stopped playing that, and I was doing great doing that and playing that. And then I went and played Valorant, and then I was even doing great on Valorant. I think I still am also doing great on Valorant as well. Um, and it's just like, but now it's like, okay, what's next? Like, what game's next? And when it comes to like what game I'm gonna move to next. And I think like right now I'm in a position where like Valorant's like Valorant's like really comfortable, like cushion content for me, I feel like. Because it's like a game I could always like go back to play. I have you know, I'm like kind of respected in the scene to some degree. Like people appreciate what I've done and what I bring to like the Valorant category. And and then I have like the watch parties that I'll do every once in a while that are really fun. And and now
Dude,
I'm just like kind of like waiting. I'm like, okay, like what do we do next?
have okay, so I can start to like kind of maybe provide some value here. Have you thought, because the way that you're thinking about this is like kind of exclusively like game categories and Twitch. I don't know if you can see what I put up on my stream. But
I could load up your stream real quick.
I'm gonna pull up
That's fine.
something for you.
Yeah, I got your stream up.
Okay. So it'll
Mhm.
take a second to update. But what we're looking at here, this is all of the platforms that you main, and
Mhm.
the percentage change per year as of 1 year ago versus the current followers. Okay. So where we're gonna go with this is, I think you're thinking in terms of like, how do I make these big moves on Twitch to grow? And you're not putting enough focus or thought into how you diversify on other platforms. So if we take a look and realize that you could grow from there. So if we take a look at like Twitch is like by far over the course of the last year, like an insane amount of growth. Like so this translates to 86% growth, which is insane. Like you like in the last year, um, you've grown 84.3%. Your hours watched doubled. And I think the most important number is your followers have gone up 70%. So like you've grown more this year on Twitch than like you've grown on any other platform. But
Mhm.
your other well, so like as far as Twitch is going, what I see is that you actually are at a point on Twitch where your growth is like it's not capped, because there's always going to be new people finding you, but like if you
Mhm.
imagine like an exponential curve, like it will be harder and harder to go on this platform because you just have so much saturation here, right?
Mhm.
um Versus if you double down for like the next 6 months or something on something like YouTube, you would like probably double your audience on Twitch. And a really good example of someone that's like doing this right now is like Ludwig, right? Where
Mhm.
where where it's like, okay, I'm gonna make a video a day. I'm gonna source those people into my Twitch stream, and I'm gonna make like deliberate content, and then I'm going to like try to figure out how that looks, and like very deliberately like create your content towards that direction. For me, it's not a problem of what game you're playing; it's a problem of diversification.
Hmm.
Saying all that with the caveat of I understand that like um your ultimate goal is not like growing an insane amount of viewership or whatever. But it's or like but you're still like interested in success. Like you want to
Yeah.
yeah. Like it would be dumb to assume that like you don't want to build your brand. So
Yeah.
have
I see
you
that.
thought a lot about have you thought at all about your strategy on other platforms? And let's just like focus on YouTube for now.
Yeah, I've definitely I've definitely like thought about YouTube and tried to like knock things out when it comes to YouTube. I think the difficult thing for me is like huh, I think the difficult thing for me for YouTube is like I feel really like out of place making YouTube videos.
Why is that?
'Cause I feel like I don't know. I'm just like really. I think I have this issue like where when I'm like uncomfortable with something, I'll like when I don't know. I have difficulty coming up with like YouTube ideas and like following like YouTube trends and stuff.
Hmm.
And I think like that's like what like a lot of YouTube is in a way. Like if you do want to like, especially like my position, if I want to like grow on the platform, um, and I don't know. It's just like I have like this weird. Honestly, I think like I'm kind of lazy when it comes to like my YouTube channel, like
Hmm.
for sure.
Yeah, I think so. But
Yeah,
why do you
I'm just
feel
like
like
lazy about it.
why do you feel like you need to do deliberate content for it? So like why do you feel like you need to you can't just like syndicate content from your stream over and just have like because like at the very least if you did something like I'm gonna take like the moments of my stream 3 times because you're consistent enough in your broadcast that you can feed your YouTube with your broadcast, right?
Mhm.
And then like you get like why do you feel like you need to have like a deliberately separate YouTube video?
I guess I don't feel that way.
Hmm.
I guess it's just like the idea that I have in my mind, like when it comes to like making YouTube videos. I think you have to like do it off stream and you have to like record it. And it has to be like this whole process.
I think this is the greatest like vertical. So it's like the if you are interested in like growing your brand in 2021, this is
Mhm.
like where you're gonna kill it. And you're because you're here's the thing, your stats on uh Twitch are insane. Right? Like you're
Yeah,
literally one of the people that's growing faster than any other person on the platform right now.
yeah.
And
Do you know?
yeah.
Do you know? Fucking. Do you know Lena from TSM?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I've known Lena for years.
The
Yeah.
the if she was watching the stream right now, the amount of times that like she has fucking told me to just like work on my YouTube and put time into my YouTube,
Yeah.
she would probably just be like, "Yes, tell him." Like, yeah, but then like I start and then I like stop and then I like start and I stop and I just never like stay consistent with it. And I think it is like definitely like a if there is something like to that I would be good for me to put like my time and energy into, it would fucking be YouTube. Like I
100%.
definitely see how valuable like YouTube is and could be.
The content, first of all, Lena's like one of the smartest and like most unknown people in the industry. Like she has done so much to make TSM successful. It's insane. Like I hope that
Oh no,
story.
I hard agree.
Yeah, I hope that story at some point gets told because I met Lena like way back when I was running CLG
Mhm.
like years ago and I was like holy shit she's smart, like this is actually insane. So I was like how could a person like Reggie actually run a team? Sorry, this is the rivalry talking, but like you know how could this guy possibly build something like this? Then I met Lena and I was like oh that's how. All made sense. Okay, like, but anyway, like the she's right, and like this can be taken out of this for you, right? Like you can build a team or have a person that does this full time that like looks at this for you And that might be like in the next like 4 to 5 months, like thinking about that would be really good
Yeah.
because like if because here's the thing, right? With follower
Hmm.
gain like this, the number of people that actually come and watch your stream and then decide to follow the stream and come back for you is one of the highest on Twitch, which means that people are really enjoying what you do. You're doing something right.
Hmm.
And if that's the case, like for me, like when people come and like watch this broadcast, right? Like, it's a lot less. Like maybe I don't know what the number is. Call it 1 in 100 people will actually click the follow button. For you, it's like 1 in 6, right? And like this, I do like very niche, like very like weird business talk. It's like very like specific to a particular type of troglodyte, and like the other like other than that, like nobody cares. But like with you, you have this sort of like accessible, um, I don't know, it's your personality. Like you're just people just get into you, and that will apply on YouTube as well. Like if all
Hmm.
you do is you syndicate that over to YouTube and you get those good moments on there that you're already broadcasting anyway, like you will double your growth in 2021, straight up.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I guess like the thing that like I guess the way that I gotta go about it next is just like you said, either, you could hire like people and develop like a team that like could work with you and figure out all these things for you. And then all I have to do is like execute,
it
right? And
it
like
sounds.
execute the
I mean, okay, you could do that. You could literally probably just go to TSM and like just talk to Lena and be like, "Okay, I'm ready. Get me this person," and then she'll figure it out. Like it doesn't even
Mhm.
have to be so dramatic as like you have to like do like an application process and like individually review. You can do that if you want, but I don't think you need to.
Mhm.
I think you have the resources to make this happen.
Yeah.
And so I think about this more than I think about anything. Like I look at your Instagram. Your Instagram is actually fucking nuts. Like I don't know how, like that like that's like crazy. But honestly, like Instagram and Twitter, in terms of like, you seem to be very Twitch focused. And is that true? Like, do you want to? Is this going to be
Yeah, that's
your
pretty true.
platform? Okay, so like,
I mean, it's like, I mean, so like I'm in a position where I Twitch is like my main thing right now, but in the future, I think I would be more interested in like being able to like expand beyond Twitch,
so what's that mean to you?
like do more than just like regular streaming and regular like gaming, but like I don't know, like I actually wrote down recently like
Oh shit, let's go.
I was like just thinking about like where I want to go, like in terms of the future, like what I want to do. And I was like, well, do I continue streaming? And it's like, is it gaming focused? Do I like dive into show hosting? Do I become like a pro in another game like down the road in the future? And it's like, and then I talked about like what I'm good at. I think I'm good at video games. I think I'm good at like hosting and like curating like a vibe and an energy with people,
Hmm.
like in the Twitch atmosphere. And then And then I was like, well, there's multiple directions you could take like all of this. And I guess like for me, it's like I don't know exactly like where I want to be in 3 to 5 years or like what exactly I want to do.
You have no idea.
I have some idea, but I don't have like a solid idea. Like I can't tell you like with confidence, like for sure I want to be like a gameplay FPS or like variety streamer,
Okay,
like for the next 3 to 5 years.
next 3 to 5. Holy shit. Okay, gameplay or variety streamer for 3 to 5 years. That's a long time on Twitch.
Yeah.
Like entire careers rise and fall in shorter times than that here, right?
Hmm.
Do you want to you want to be a live streamer preeminently? Like that's your main thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Why?
Mm, I think I really enjoy it when it's like when things are like flowing right with everything. Like when you're really feeling it, like it's a really nice feeling when you're like having a really good stream and things are going really well and chat's really enjoying shit. I think it's a really, really good feeling. And on top of that, I think that with Twitch streaming and like with gaming culture, I think like this industry is such a like God knows where it's going to like lead to in the future.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of opportunity in sticking with it and like making something out of it.
Why so why the live streaming component and not why not like VOD content? I'm just curious. Like why not like let's say you could be a YouTuber and you have like
Mhm.
I don't know, triple the number of subscribers you have right now and you just made videos. What's the difference for you?
White people happies.
Yeah.
No,
That's a good answer. It's the
I mean,
community.
it's yeah, community and
Yeah.
culture. I think is a big thing. But I think on top of that, like I think like okay, so let me run it back even a little bit more. I think I'm so far detached from doing YouTube style content and doing YouTube in general that like I can't see myself as a YouTuber.
I see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Of course.
Like
Yeah.
like I like we looked at like my YouTube. Like I'm so lazy and fucking like not interested in making YouTube content just because I haven't gotten to like the rhythm of doing it. I feel like
Mhm.
that I can't even see myself as being it. But I'm like I know for a like I talked like we talked in the stream. I was like, dude, Twitch is a fucking pond. Like I'm fully
Yeah.
aware that like YouTube is the fucking ocean, right? And
Yes.
I'm definitely interested in that ocean, but I feel like I need to grow the fuck up and get over like this weird feeling or like this like weird feeling slash like negative mind state that I have about or like this like weird like this weird work ethic that I have when it comes to like actually making YouTube videos.
So when you identify something like this in your mind, how do you work through it? Because it feels like to me that you do this a lot. Like you'll actually deliberately improve something about yourself in a very conscious way, which sounds like dumb to a lot of people, but a lot of people don't do this. A lot of people don't like take something that they're like, okay, this is a problem, and then you actively overcome it. Writing seems to
Mhm.
be one of the ways you do it.
Yeah, I like mapping out my thoughts and then trying to like rationalize through them.
So how do you like sort through a process like that? Like what is it just something you put into thought? I don't realize kind of complicated question. Basically, I'm asking like, what are your techniques to start to like consciously self improve on something?
Mm, first, I identify a problem
Mhm.
or a feeling, and then I try to find this like the root of the feeling, like what is making me feel X way, and then what is going to solve that like problem.
I was gonna solve that. Okay, and you write that out. You map it out.
And sometimes I write it out. Sometimes I just think I could go through it like mentally.
Do you write a lot?
Um, I don't write a lot regularly, but I'll write if I need if I feel like it's something that's like really bothering, and I'll like get it and down.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Huh. Because I'm thinking about this process. Like, you have like a pinned tweet that is like super self improvement oriented, right? Like,
Mhm.
and is this like something that kind of like consciously crosses your thought to like get better every day?
Yeah, dude, I retweet that sometimes randomly when I'm sad and down and fucking feeling depressed. That's a Easter egg. If I ever randomly retweet my fucking pinned tweet, you know that I'm depressed.
Oh,
That's
damn.
that's an Easter egg.
That's an Easter egg.
And honestly, it'll help me. Like it'll
Mhm.
fucking make me feel better. Like looking back at it and just thinking about it, or just reading that tweet. I don't know. It makes me feel good. Makes me feel like I can get over what the fuck I'm getting over. Right.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. But why like what got you into that mindset of like always improving like that? Why is that important to you?
I think it stems from my fucking childhood. To be honest, I think I grew up with a lot of siblings, and I think I've for a long time watched a lot of my siblings like fuck up in a lot of ways and like make life hard for like my parents in a lot of ways. And I
Mhm.
think that sort of started from a very young age, like a I'm gonna be better than that and I'm going to be a better person than that mentality from a very young age. And I think it's sort of just like behaviorally like caught on and it's like just stuck with me now.
Damn, that's cool, man. That's something that I identify a lot with because I have like an insane amount of obsession with like self improvement and thinking about that
Yeah.
from like every single aspect. That's one of the reasons why I vibe with you on the podcast is like I could tell
Mm.
like you really like think about things, like you ask questions and like okay, so huh. So like what do you have any questions for me in terms of brand building or growth that you're particularly interested in?
In terms of branding, what do you think my weaknesses are?
Okay. Um right now, I think the biggest vulnerability you have is actually Twitch. And like you said in the beginning of the talk, mindset going forward is like more important than anything else, right? So your
Mhm.
mindset right now is like you're super down to be a Twitch streamer, and a lot of people are going to tell you you're good because like you're like in their eyes you're super successful and like you're going to but like in my eyes any singular focus on one thing is a vulnerability, I think.
Mhm.
And if Twitch turns in a different direction or just doesn't grow as fast, you're attached to that outcome if you're not well
Mhm.
diversified. Now people are gonna say, okay, the guy's got 4 million subs on YouTube, he's diversified. But like, and like, there's some argument to be made there. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, right? Like, but what
Yeah.
I'm seeing is like like an 80 to 90% over index on Twitch. Um, so thinking about where your content lives, right? Like, because what like the thing about Twitch is like once you do a live show, there it is. And not really anybody goes back and like watches the VOD. It's like there for the moment. So
Yeah.
if you're like crushing it on Twitch, that's really good, but you're crushing it until you're not crushing it. Right. And but on YouTube, like that, you can have a video that like it does, I don't know, does like 200K views, then later it goes up to like 3 million months later, right?
Yeah.
Like building that kind of foundation in another place, and I think like getting your YouTube numbers up to like your getting your YouTube subscriber count up to like your Twitch follower count would be the main priority to me for sure.
Mhm.
And I think you'll feel a lot better too, because you'll be like the thing it did for me to because I built a YouTube over the course of the last year, and the thing it did for me was like, granted, I don't do this full time, right? Like I'm running a business on the side, but like, or I'm doing this on the side, running a business full time. But like, what it helped me do was like, okay, I don't feel like I need to be on Twitch like 100%. My success is tied to this,
Mhm.
and we talked a lot about that in terms of social media, right? Well, like you don't want to feel like you're tied to something. The same way you don't want to feel like you're tied to like Twitch exclusively.
Yeah.
Yeah. hmm Yeah. Now, if that is now the problem is working through that mentally. Because it seems like to me you're really into the Twitch game, which is good. Like it's fine. But I think like over the course, if you have a 3 to 5 year plan, it has to include
Yeah.
diversification. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
I think as much as I'm into the Twitch game, I think it's only because it's what I'm like comfortable with and what I've been doing for quite a long time
Yeah.
or for quite some time. And I think I haven't, and I think like honestly, like I think I also have like an issue when it comes to figuring out how to like reaching out for help and like being like, okay, I want help when it comes to like something like running my YouTube channel, and I want to have like, and I want to try to like build a team or find like a team that will help me do that and make that happen and make that work. I think I have a difficult time communicating for help
hmm
and that I like and just talking to like people, for example, like Lena or some of like my other friends that like I need that help or that I want to go that direction with.
Do you feel like so like with where you're at in your life right now, like are you feeling really good about what you're doing, or have you been like what's your sort of like current mental around like your creation of stuff? Maybe that's a good place to start.
I feel good right now.
hmm
And then, but on top of that, I think as well, like something that I thought about a lot recently is like with COVID and like with 2020 being like in 2021 being like the year that it is, I'm also like really afraid to like introduce more workload
Yeah.
into my life because I'm unsure like how consistent I'll be able to be with it and like where I'll be mentally when it comes to like the entire scenario that I'm in or like the entire scenario that everyone's in. Yeah.
Yeah. Like so your mental around what you're doing is like really good. You don't feel like any like huge need to improve anywhere.
Uh, I think about my YouTube channel
Okay. Mhm.
still like regularly,
Okay. That's good. Like
like even before this.
oh really?
Yeah, like I'll look
Okay.
at my YouTube channel and just be like, fuck. Because like I know that I should. Like I said, I've been told before that I should. So that's definitely been something that like I've looked at.
Okay,
But
that's
then
cool.
another part of me that I think like part of me like doesn't just want to be someone that just like farts out content and that hits high numbers. Like I'm definitely like
Totally.
a very purpose driven person as well. And so it's also like, okay, like how do I integrate that while also um being successful like on these platforms? But then there's like another way of thinking about it all. It's like, well, just fucking like maybe it's like, okay, fucking work really hard, like grind out these fucking platforms, like gain that following, gain like get to yourself to an established position to where you get to a point where you can then like branch and just do your fucking thing and you'll still have like a measurable fucking audience like there for it and supporting it and you'll be able to like do those things as well.
It feels like if you put the same dedication that you have done consistently with streaming into like, I want to see 3 videos a week or something. Don't care how it happens,
Mhm.
but like that's what I'm gonna do. You would get there super easy because you already have like the track record of like if you dedicate to something, you do it.
Oh fuck, are those all my streams?
Oh yeah, yeah. This is basically the entire
Yeah,
history of
I
where you're
like
at.
that site.
Yeah, it's cool.
Jesus Christ.
It's a really
Looking at it like looking at looking at it like that seems crazy because I think the most I ever take off is like what, like 4 days in a row or
yep.
something.
Yep. Like you've taken a week off. This is probably for like TwitchCon or something
Yeah.
around these times. So you are absurdly consistent. But what's interesting is that you're absurdly consistent regardless of how well you're doing. You're basically unattached to like so here in like January 2018, like you're actually less consistent when you're doing insane than you are when you're like you're actually less consistent, which is fucking insane.
Mhm,
Like here's where you actually start to take some time off, right? In this like
mhm.
2018, you're like, God, I'm doing too good. I gotta pull back.
Uh-huh.
And then like later on, yeah, you're absurdly consistent. This and like the most interesting thing here for me is this period of time, like the 2017 period, because this is
Mhm.
when you had no idea what was going to happen. But there's no
Yeah.
way you could have seen 3 months from now when you were here,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, no.
But still, every day getting on 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, right? 11 hours here, just freaking streaming Paragon, dude, for a year straight. A-
Yeah.
and so, like,
After school, dude.
oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, after school.
How old
I
are
well, I
you?
had a school I had a school I had high school and I had a job, so after that, I would try to stream at least an hour or 2 every day. I'm
Damn,
21.
you're 21.
Mhm.
Oh shit! If you do nothing else but okay, oh my god, you have so much time. That's actually unbelievable. Dude, you could stream for 9 years and you would still have your entire life ahead of you. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Holy shit. That's actually what did you start streaming? What year? You said
Mm.
2015?
Streaming in general? Or you mean like
Yeah,
on this
yeah.
account? Because I think yeah, I wanna say early high school, maybe like freshman, sophomore year
Why did you get into
when I
streaming so
stopped.
early? How did you know about it? Like how did you cuz that was really rare back then. Like
So
nobody streamed that age.
so back in so going even further back, like I used to play Call of Duty, and I used to be like on this clan or whatever, and I used to like watch YouTube videos and stuff, and I used to be like really into like tech and shit and like building computers and whatever. And so through Call of Duty, I ended up like watching YouTube videos, and I realized that like, okay, YouTube live streaming is like a thingish that some people do. This is like when it was like in its fucking infancy, so it's
Yeah.
really fucking dog shit. And I remember like trying to like set up a live stream as like a, I don't know, maybe I was like I don't know, maybe I was like 15 or some shit, but it just like didn't work because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And so I made like YouTube videos. I have like old fucking YouTube channels. If you want me to send you like a link of like
I totally
old
do.
fucking,
Yeah.
let me send it to you on. Let me send it to you on Discord real quick. Look up
Okay.
this on YouTube. I think
I gotta pull it up.
and you'll find like, yeah, and you'll find it up. You'll find like my old fucking YouTube channels. But so yeah, basically, I've always been into like content creation and stuff. Like I used to watch CNNers, like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, and I thought that was like so fucking interesting. And then as I started transitioning to like PC gaming, I like played League of Legends or some shit as a kid. And then I discovered like, and then I started playing Minecraft on a computer, and like I discovered Minecraft streamers actually first. And then I realized I was like, oh, this is really fucking cool. So I started streaming like League of Legends and Minecraft every once in a while. And this is like, wait, that is like when I was like 11 when I made those videos.
Yeah, you were fucking
So I was like
12.
Yeah.
Like what? This is
Yeah.
so cool, by the way. This stuff gets me all the way up, dude. Like when I see someone that has been like this consistent for this long, like there's only one other person I've ever talked to that's like has a history that's this and that's Charlie, Moist Critical. If you go back to his YouTube channel, he's got stuff from 13 years ago.
Yeah, I have like, and then there was like this is my first ever YouTube channel, and then I even have like another YouTube channel that like I was like, I don't like what I'm making on this one, like fuck it, I'm gonna make another one. And then I shut that one down. I was like, okay, like this is the last fucking step. I'm the myth, like that's gonna be my name, and I'm gonna go with it.
How did you decide to make? I just don't understand. Like, what was going through your head when you wanted to make YouTube videos at 12 years old? Like, how did you decide to do that?
When I was really young and I was still playing like a lot of games, and well, I guess like at this stage in my life, like I was just interested in like other Minecraft people.
Yeah.
Like, dude, do you know Yogscast?
Of course, yeah.
I watched Yogscast fucking Minecraft Let's Play series, like their first one, on my fucking like my sister's BlackBerry.
Oh, shit.
Like I watched their YouTube videos on my sister's BlackBerry, and that like got me fucking like I was like, I want to play Minecraft and I want to make fucking videos.
Whoa. So, but none of your friends are probably doing. Like, you're probably the only person in the
The
school.
BlackBerry Bold. What's up?
Are you you're the only kid in school that's like making content like this?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So like,
I mean, especially like where I'm from, like yeah.
what do you mean where you're from?
Just like Dearborn, Michigan. It's like a super like it's pretty like low to low middle class like area. So it's like not very like technologically like advanced, like not very open minded.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, I know. Yeah. So you made this like deliberate decision to start making content when you're literally 12 years old, and then you start twitching. Like what's so weird is like for people that think this isn't weird, you have to put this into the perspective of a person at that time during this time. Right now, it's like every 12-year-old wants to be a Twitch streamer, right?
Yeah.
It's just like a thing. Like, yeah, of course I want to be a Twitch streamer. Back then, nobody even knew. Like, and I think it was even difficult to stream on Twitch at that time. Like, you didn't have OBS, right?
Yeah.
What did you use?
XSplit.
You used XSplit?
Yeah, I think so.
That's how I started too.
I used XSplit for like my first streams.
So, like, you just thought it would be cool to like broadcast your wife. Do you have any like I'm just so interested in how you got here because this is like this is so rare that you find somebody that like starts at that kind of age, right? There are people that are 21 starting their stream like right now, and that's considered early.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought you were 25, 26. No. I thought you were like 25, 26. I can't believe you've been building a brand for 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that is absolutely wild. That's actually insane. And like what's so crazy is you could go another 4 years or 5 years, you'd be 26, you can still do anything.
Yeah, still kicking. Yeah.
Oh my God. That is actually so cool. So I guess in that perspective, one way to think about this is like you almost don't have to sweat it like nearly, dude. Like for me, like I'm out of time. I'm gonna die in like 5 years. Like, right? I gotta focus on YouTube. But for you, man, I don't know. Like you've got it going. That's incredible. Wow, that changes my mind
Thank
on a
you.
lot of things. It's
Mm.
I figured you'd been in it for like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, it's funny because like when I think of like making videos like back then, like I never like I think the way that like you phrased it was interesting. Like you've been building a brand for 9 years, but it's more like for me, I was like, like this fucking YouTube video. Like I just made fucking videos, and then like I was like, ah, fuck that, that's shit. Like when I think about like the brand that I've built, I think like the last like 4 years, like this channel specifically. But I mean, like the past experience that I've gained from like doing this shit and like wanting to do it at such a young age definitely like plays a part in where I'm at now for sure.
Oh man, I'm gonna go back and look at your like 9-year-old content. Like I want to see what amazing basketball shots is about.
Hey guys. Oh God.
Are you actually talking to it? You're narrating this?
So the Minecraft Let's Play ones, yeah.
It's
The
amazing.
the the ones that are titled animals, I was just at fucking like SeaWorld or some shit, and I just uploaded like random videos on my phone. Amazing basketball shots is an edited video. Definitely watch that one off stream because there is like it might have like my address, like the address of not where I live now, but like where like my family used to live.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, like I like edited like basketball shots over like fucking Eminem's like what was it, dude? If you had one shot,
Oh
one
my,
opportunity, like so that's like all edited and put into that video.
that's brutal, dude.
It's got bloopers as well.
What? Wait. How did you learn how to edit that early?
I just used Microsoft.
Oh,
Wow, that was 9 years ago. Microsoft Windows Editor or like whatever. You know what I mean? Microsoft Video Editor.
what?
Windows Video Editor.
The movie maker?
Yeah, Window Movie Maker. Yeah, I use Windows Movie Maker, and I just like fucking I just like dissected and like learned to like click shit and snip stuff and just it took a long time to fucking edit that 3-minute video because I had to like learn how to use Windows Movie Maker at that age.
So before this, you didn't.
Oh, and I used to make like family videos for shit as well. Like I remember I used to like put together like oh man, this is bringing back memories I like never even knew I fucking had anymore. I used to edit like photo collages of like my family of like just like I don't know like a wedding like pictures and then I would edit it out. I would burn them onto CDs and I would like give them to my family and if they have like videos of fucking whatever it's called of like just photos like a photo album like a digital photo album on like a CD back when I was like 12.
This
Oh
is
yeah,
this is
that was from my art class. I spell apocalypse wrong at the end of this video.
this is actually insanely awesome. Holy moly, dude. This is actually crazy. You've had like a passion for content creation for like almost a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now it like so much more makes sense in this context. It like you're just starring stick fighting men. Filmed on
Yeah.
location, pivot animation creator. Are you just like moving the you're just moving the little dudes around?
Yeah,
Like
so
in
it was
the
actually an animation. It was actually like a full blown like animation software where you had like a stick figure and then you'd have to move like you'd have to like move a limb and then you'd have to like fucking hit frame and then move another limb frame move the limbs and then frame. So yeah.
I
Mhm.
never knew this about you. This is actually so crazy. It all makes a lot of sense now. Like like a lot of the time people think that success is just like a matter of like blowing up. And even if you didn't have like
Mhm.
a like overnight, right? But even if you didn't have like a conscious decision to like improve your content, you were still like trying stuff and seeing what works for a decade.
Mhm.
And now you're here. Like it
Yeah.
just like it makes like perfect sense. Um this is really, really neat to see. How much time do you have, by the way? I want to be conscious of like the other stuff you got going on.
Oh, I'm good right now. I had a chess thing, but it was EST instead of PST, so I think we're scheduling for.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'm all right. Yeah.
Good shit. What would you say to like people who are trying to become successful content creators? Because like now being a YouTuber is the number one most desired job in America among
Yeah.
the 16 to 36 crowd. So that means like a large amount of you will the people who are
Mhm.
listening right now will want to um follow in like what you've done.
Mhm. That's a tough question. I think it's always hard to so like is the question like tips or like for people that want to get into this space or
It's like let's say that you had a son, okay?
Mhm.
And
Okay.
and he wanted to
Mhm.
become a content creator, how would you guide him?
Um I think before anything I would put a lot of emphasis on the like burdens of being a public figure. And like
Mhm.
I think the philosophy that I have on like being a public figure like to my son.
Can you tell me more about
And
that?
I think yeah, I
Yeah.
think a lot of that has to do with I sort of view things as like I think that you are somewhat responsible for the things the way that like you make your audience feel and the things that they like take in from you. So I think like there's definitely like there's definitely like uh content that I don't think like I would ever do because I think it's like morally it's like a little bit morally like incorrect to feed X type of content to like young individuals.
Mhm.
And I think I would first put a lot of emphasis on that to like toward my like kid if they actually wanted to be a content because that's something that I take very fucking seriously. And maybe like to a degree that's like more so than like other content creators, but it's something that I think like that I care about a lot. Like I really don't like the fact that I don't like the idea of bad people like getting ahead through this industry. And
Yeah.
I think like this is one of the I've talked to people about this as well. Like I think this is one of the only industries where you could consistently be like a fucking you could consistently promote like toxic behavior and like toxic traits that and like still get ahead and like still pass on by and still
Yeah.
make income. Where like if you work like a regular fucking job and you do like half of the shit that you do, you just get fucking fired. Like no one would deal with that.
Yeah.
So you end up like, you end up like sort of like a vacuum in a sense in that way. And I think I would really, I'd really put a lot of emphasis on that. It's like toward my that would be like number one. Like that would be our like first discussion. I was like, you want to be a content creator? Well, let's talk about influence.
So you think that from like before you ever get into like this is how you grow, this is how you get people interested, you would design a moral compass that you think points in the right direction.
I think so, yeah.
What is that moral compass? What are the things that you do and don't do? That is a fucking really powerful thing that you just said.
Whew. Um, things I do and don't do. I don't. Let me think about organizing this. And I think those other things would come like very like quickly after, by the way, like in terms of like brand. Because I think that
Yeah.
stuff is like for the most part, like you could deliver that message like quite like by the book and quite easily. Well, depending on where this goes by the time I have a kid. um, but so things that you do and you don't do. I think it wouldn't be necessarily black and white do's and don'ts, but I would want them to understand how their actions can be perceived and have real effects on people, especially kids. For example, um, if you want to be a content creator that just goes around and flexes their fucking their wealth and their chains and their shit, and that's like the content you want to make, well, it may get you views, but you also need to take into consideration the fact that like it may make kids and it may make individuals feel like they have less when they look back into their personal lives. And so that's like one thing. And like another thing is like how are you gonna what's like how do you solve conflict live on stream?
Mhm.
That plays another part into like the type of person, the type of behavior that people find to be acceptable when they watch you. I think when you're someone that like doesn't do a good job of keeping their cool on stream necessarily, like not all the time, but like when you're a toxic person, I think, and when people like your toxic like personality on stream and they think it's entertaining and stuff, I do think that there is also a group of people that follow in line that are like, okay, this is acceptable behavior because this person is doing it. And look at the numbers that they have and look at how far they've gone.
And if I duplicate this, then I can also do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I think those are like very important things to take into consideration. And to like, that's something like I would definitely like lean into when it comes to like if I had a son, like a literal son,
Yeah.
and I was teaching them like about this industry.
Have you ever participated in that sort of dark side of like the moral compass?
I think that there have been, I mean, even recently, I think I handled like the whole like XQC drama between me and him. Like, I
Yeah.
think I handled it really poorly.
Why?
I think I just fed back like what I was being dished out, and I just don't like that. I think that there's a better way to deal with it.
What is that better way? Sorry to like get really granular, but I'm just really interested
No,
in
no,
this.
it's fine. It's
Yeah.
it's just like
Mhm.
it's just doing what I do. Is doing what I do when I run into any other like toxic behavior online. I
Mhm.
just fucking mute it and carry on. But instead, I'm gonna be honest, like I fed into it and I fucking like played into it, and I was like definitely someone that like talked my shit too, and in turn just threw some more into the pot. A
Mhm.
little bit more into the pot. Yeah.
Was there any uh don't have to answer any of this, but like was there any insight?
Mhm.
I wasn't even aware that you had that. Like I don't like really exist
Mhm.
in that area. But like was there any like feeling that you did that you kind of like thought about doing that because you knew that it would have like this sort of like echo effect? Like did you want to create that or were you just like you were actually like legit like I got to respond?
Um, no, I was legit frustrated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you so so
Yeah.
so you have done it in the past, but you are like making a more conscious effort throughout like the last maybe couple years to like get
Well,
away
yeah.
from it. Yeah. Mhm.
I try to always make a conscious effort to do what I think is better and what is the right thing. It doesn't mean I'm gonna be perfect fucking every time, of course, but I try. I think that matters.
That's all that matters. Totally agree.
Mhm.
What do you think for Twitch or our platform specifically? Like, what do you think are some of the biggest moral issues we have to deal with right now? But this is like a super important conversation.
Mhm. Most important moral issues on Twitch.
Yeah, in the context of the framework that you just set up, because like you're trying to, I think
Mhm.
you're trying to move the platform forward. Not like in like a I don't know like a what's the word? I'm not saying like you're taking it on your shoulders and doing it. I'm saying that like you're conscious of it in the context of your own brand.
Mhm.
And so by extension, what do you see Twitch as a platform doing that we as a platform need to improve? Like, in terms of like the moral compass of it. And if that's
It's
might be a shit question, I can expand it if you want. What does Twitch need to do better at?
what does Twitch need to do better
Well,
at?
that's another question. Like what is as a platform? How do we become more responsible for our viewers and our content creators? What's wrong right now?
Hmm. It's give me a second.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I can go take a leak too. I'll be right back. And it's a good
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
That's cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's cool. Chat, you're actually fooling, dude. Boob streamers aren't what's morally wrong with Twitch. you being horny, you just click off. The same people that say booby streamers are the problem are the same people tuning into the booby streamers to tell them that they're the problem, but you're sitting there like giving them money. So it's like, what are you talking about? It's such a difficult question. It really is, because it's like, even though it's like a I'm gonna talk about this while Devin's gone, but just while it's just me and you chat. I mean, even talking about right or wrong in this case is really difficult because at the end of the day, like there's a market for these things. And I don't necessarily think that like these streamers created that market, right? For like, for example, let's say if someone's a more toxic streamer, um, and so forth. I don't think these streamers created that fucking market for that. You know what I mean? Or like, I don't think titty streamers created the market for men being fucking coomers. And I think like, I think I don't have crazy like expectations for other streamers when it comes to this type of stuff, but it's something that like I would like to see people take into consideration and be more accountable for the things that they say and do, even though they may not feel those things directly from their community. But it's also like Twitch is one of the platforms where it's fucking hard to feel accountability for anything that you do because you are in a vacuum. Sorry, I was talking to chat about my thoughts.
That's good. Yeah.
But yeah, to go through with you. So basically, the way I wrote it, the way I set it down was so when it comes to like right or wrong, I think it's a very difficult. It makes it very difficult for me to give a response to that question specifically because I think like these markets weren't created because of these streamers doing the things that they're. I think like these markets existed for like people that like want to watch like toxic type content. They want to like watch. Chat was joking and saying like titty streamers was a problem that we're having on Twitch. Yeah. And I was like, that's not the fucking problem. Yeah. And I was like, people like those markets existed and people are just here and like to like kind of like gather it up, but they also in a way also like do promote certain things. But well, going forward, I said that it's not so much that like I think like it's right and wrong in that no, I don't want to use that word. I don't want to use the word right. It's not so much that I want to see like every streamer be on their best behavior and take accountability for things. But I do think that like Twitch is just a fucking hard platform for people to take accountability for the things that they say or do because they are put in front of an audience that likes them and will just, for the most part, justify a lot of the things that they say or do. And so it's like a really hard place to be in. So it's like, okay, how does a streamer take more accountability for the things that they say or do when it comes to like the people that they may be influencing to think differently because they like them as a streamer? It's like, how the fuck do you even go about that in the first place? And I don't know the answer to that question. I think having good people around you, I think honestly, I think it stems from like something that's way outside of Twitch. And it's like the fucking education around the world, dude. Like we have some education reform is something I'm really fucking passionate about. And I think like ties really well into this. Mm-hmm. It's like there's so much. I think it starts there, and I don't think it like starts from like the top down. You know what I mean? It doesn't start from like Twitch streamers, like all Twitch streamers being more accountable, and then that will make the world a better place, and that will make Twitch like a better place entirely. I do think it'll help for sure. I think I've seen firsthand how like some like the way people react causes a like direct fucking like causes their chat and their community to act in like a very different way than if they would act differently.
Yeah.
But I think like thinking about the issue like large scale, it starts from something when people are fucking much younger. And that's like a really difficult topic.
So you mentioned education reform as one of your like primary values, even outside of Twitch, right?
Hmm.
So that is also my primary value. In fact, like I've dedicated my life to like trying to figure out like how to do education reform. You know what I think it
Hmm.
is? I think you're the one that's going to do it because the people that are in school are fucking listening to you. That's
Yeah.
what they're not listening to their high school teachers anymore. They're not listening to people that they're professors. They're listening to influencers.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, that's valid too.
yeah, and so like we think about how is education reform actually going to look in the future? Our public school system, at least in America and probably in other places, is pretty much hopeless, right? Like it's just it's a ton of boomers, and I don't use that word lightly. And it's like me when I say someone's a boomer, that's like the crypt keeper, okay? Like that, like it's a
Mhm.
ton of people that are totally removed from the process, and there's no way that we can get younger people to have values like the ones that you're talking about through public school
Mhm.
systems IMO.
Mhm.
And so I think the people that do it are the people that consciously or unconsciously set themselves up as influencers and then broadcast whatever message they're going to broadcast. And that's both really cool, like that's like a very encouraging thing, but also a very scary thing when you think
Yeah.
about the widespread um what do you think about the spread of different type of influencer on YouTube and Twitch?
Yeah. And something that I like think about a lot as well is like, I think we're already I think we're in a place where like so I think it's no. Like you said, like the current state of influencers and stuff on Twitch and YouTube is like it's scary to think about that because it's
Scary.
like that's not really like a conversation that's being had
Yeah.
like widespread, right? And so I think like for the most part, a lot of people don't even like take that into like consideration when they go about hitting the live button or like streaming in general.
Yeah.
Or like even when they're not streaming, they're just thinking about streaming in general. Um and that's like, I don't know, it's like a really foreign thing for me to think about. Because when I think of like what I do, I feel like as fucking cheesy as it sounds, it's like I literally in some ways, like I owe my life to like the people on the internet that come and watch me.
Mhm.
Like without this internet shit, with literally without everybody that watches, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. Hands like, and that's every single streamer. Like regardless of how they feel about it, that's the raw fucking truth. And it's hard for me to not think about the way the way that I act impacting those individuals.
That's why I fuck with you. You are actually putting an obligation on yourself to responsibly platform good ideas. And this is the conversation that so few people are even having in this space. And I do not understand why. We've got people with like hundreds of thousands of viewers, literally. Like, what is the message that they're sending to people every day? Right. Like and it scares me that the vast majority of this platform, but also YouTube doesn't think about that. Or like on YouTube, which is a little bit because YouTube's 8 years ahead, right? Like they've
Mhm.
been doing content 8 more years than Twitch has.
Yeah.
They have some people on there that are deliberately like fueling the flames of this stuff.
Yeah.
And actually making and Twitch is going to have those people too. Kind of arguably kind of does. There's some people, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I think that this is a conversation that isn't being had, but I think that the biggest and that's why I'm glad we're having it. But the biggest thing
Mhm.
that I thought about in the context of this conversation was like I've always looked at like education as like a thing that is outside. Like it's something that like the government figures out or maybe at like the highest level like privatized business. But it's actually
Mhm.
influencers, which is why I moved out of esports and into influencer management. So like my current company that I run with my business partner Matt is a company that helps influencers. And the reason I did
Mhm.
that was because I realized that like for every single person that we touch, that person then touches another X numbers of thousands of people.
Mhm.
That's actually the future. It's
Yeah.
like people are people are growing up on your stream.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
It's crazy. And like, and then
Yeah.
like by the time that you're 30, like they'll have watched like your relationships develop. They'll have watched like your life. Like it'll be this whole thing, right? And then a lot of the
Mhm.
values, like because check this out, right? The average viewer watches Twitch. So when they get on the platform for a day, the average viewer watches Twitch for 108 minutes.
Mhm.
So for perspective, the most watched event in the United States of America on TV is the Super Bowl, and that's 52 minutes. So the
Mhm.
average Twitch viewer watches 2 times more minutes per day than the most popular event in America. So by far out
Yeah.
of every other platform in existence, Twitch is where people spend the most amount of their time when they view here. Now, we don't have as
Yeah.
heavy of an audience, right? There's way more people on YouTube per capita, 200 to 1. 200
Mhm.
people on YouTube for every one on Twitch. But that one Twitch person is it is straight up like the superpower users. So like they're
Yeah.
actually really absorbing a lot of what you have to say.
Yeah. I mean, I believe it.
It's so
I feel
surprising.
it when I go to
Yeah.
out to events, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so surprising to me. And I'm like so the thing is like I'm asking myself the question over and over again is like how did you get here at 21?
What's
What
up? Wait, sorry. I have one second. I have a TTS dono that's like really loud right now.
go for it.
Uh,
You can answer shit too.
all
Like
right. Yeah, go ahead.
mhm.
Wait, let
Um
me see. You can clip the main parts of this talk with Devin and make a banger YouTube video on like the Dutch flying on YouTube. Easy clickbait as well. Graphs on thumbnail. Why I haven't been on YouTube. Some shit for the title. Oh, true. That's a good idea, Alex. All right, good. Okay, sorry.
no,
Go
dude,
ahead.
it's, yeah,
Thank you for the two, dude. Yeah.
whatever you want to do. Yeah. Um
Mhm.
so I guess what I'm saying is like how the hell did you get here at 21? Because like how like I don't know any other how did you get so mature? Which I'm not trying to suck your dick, but I'm like legitimately
No.
saying like how do you have these thoughts? These are really rare. Like
Yeah, I think part of it has to do with the upbringing thing, and like I talked about, like my siblings and sort of being really observant about their actions and how it would affect like my parents and shit. And I think another part of that is like, okay, so like I blew up on Fortnite, and then I came to Cali, and then shit went kind of like downhill from there, and I kind of had to like, I think from when you like when you have like that crazy skyrocket of like viewership and just like numbers and money and whatever fame and like that short amount of a period of time where like you look at the graph and I was like 2 months before, I was like 2 months after, it's like night and fucking day, right?
yeah.
um but then when all that goes away, I think one of two things happen for most people. Like you either sink or you fucking swim as a person. Like you either like rise above it and you like learn from it a lot. And you have like good people around you to like help you like develop into a better person because of the scenario that went down, or you fucking go off the deep end and you kind of just like, not, I don't want to say go crazy, but like it impacts you negatively. You get into the wrong groups of people because of it, and so on and so forth. So I think like part of it is that experience was like a really big part of my life, like of my short life was a really big part. And then like again, I think Lena's one of like my really good friends, and she's someone that like literally like sat down with me before when I was like going through some of like my darkest down nights on like not darkest like my darkest times on Twitch,
Hmm.
and it helped me like rationalize through it and like become a better person at the end of the day out of it. So I think like having good people around you combined with like, having a good thought process about it as well. Like I've always wanted to be like a better person, even when I was like a super arrogant fucking teenager playing Fortnite. Like my number one thing was like becoming a better person and like being really good at video games. Um, so I think all that combined sort of like got me to where I'm at today.
When you went through yeah, fuck it, let's go. So like when you
Mhm.
went through this period of time, you're talking about a period of time where like you were basically peaking viewership like super hard. You're basically like front
Mhm.
of category and then you decline off of Fortnite. Is that what happened more or less?
I was still playing Fortnite, but I declined as well,
Okay.
like in the directory. Yeah.
And this bothered you a lot?
Yes.
What part of it bothered you?
Um, uh, Dude, going live every day and people telling me to just like quit my job and just I'm washed up and I'm garbage. Like it was pretty fucking tough.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm like talking about this is because I think that there's a lot of like I this is like kind of like an iffy conversation, but like I think that getting through this and seeing where you're at now is like gonna inspire a shit ton of people, right?
Mhm.
Because but like as hard as it is, so you're saying you had this period of time where like people are saying like you're washed up, blah blah blah, like same thing that they told a lot of the major Fortnite dudes, right? Um, and you had to sit back and process that to get to where you are today. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And like just some backstory on all of it as well is
Yeah.
like so like with my Fortnite career, sorry, not Valorant career. It was like the first game I've ever like been a pro at or like attempted to be pro at. And I think like I was pretty prideful. Like I thought I could kind of like do it on my own and like get through like a lot of it just like through like brute force and like on my own, like just with my like own smarts, knowledge, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that like led to me having like an unsuccessful like Fortnite competitive career. And then there's also like some shit where like there's like I got so fucking unlucky with some of the teammates, like just so fucking unlucky. Like it's actually so depressing, but it's also like it's not like a lucky thing. It's like me not knowing how to go out and like get the best teammate that I can for myself, right? Like so that I could be successful. So I take responsibility for those things too. But like even with like the teammates that I like had that like weren't the best for me, like I remember like I had to talk to like an esports psychologist because like there came to a point in time where like with all the shit that I was getting, like no matter what would happen, I thought that I was the problem like every
Mhm.
single time. So I have like this really big mental barrier to like break through as well because of like how the community perceives me. Like I started to like kind of start believing as well. Like I care about what people think about me, straight up. And so like that started to impact the way that like I went about playing the game. Like there would be fucking times where like my teammate would no doubt fuck up, like 100% fuck up. And I would be like, I would still, I remember like mentally figuring out a way to justify it being my fault in some way where I could have done better. That's something that I've like always done. Where like I've always tried to become better at the game and like put myself and blame myself first. But there are also times like when you're a fucking professional where you have to put down your fucking foot and be like, no, bro, like that's fucking you. You need to improve, or like this isn't working. And I didn't have that understanding, I think, like of that like dynamic.
Wow. At this point, are you competing in Fortnite? Is this
Yeah.
okay? And
Yeah,
you
like I'm playing professionally. I'm like going to events, doing tournaments, stuff like that.
okay? So what period of time were you doing that versus being a content creator, or you're doing both those things at the same time? So when you're on this like insane streaming
Yeah.
schedule, you are also competing. What year is this?
2019, 2018.
Holy shit! So you're streaming every single
Yeah,
day, but you're
2018.
also competing.
Yeah, I'm also pro and I'm also competing. 2018 and then early 2019, I think.
Okay, and so
Basically all 2018.
so how many like total so just to give me an idea, because like believe it or not, like
Mhm.
FPS is actually kind of like one of my weak points in terms of like history of it.
Mhm.
I start like all the teams I was in were like League of Legends, like Smash, like that's like the esports communities I'm from. So like like how often were you competing? Like how many tournaments would you say you went to a year or competed in?
Is it kind of Fortnite was really like chaotic when it came to like
Yeah, it was.
esports at that time in 2018. So like there would be like for like a month or two maybe there would be like a tournament every weekend, and then
Okay.
sometimes there would be like okay now it's like Fortnite Friday every weekend. Like basically to put it this way, this is another note, but like basically it was like that. It was like maybe like once every weekend, but then there'd be like a month or two break maybe between them because they're still like it was just fucking chaotic at the start, and even honestly sometimes now and Fortnite esports is a whole nother thing that we could go into on another day. But I have a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
thoughts about that. But basically, um, yeah, I don't think I've even till this day I never had like a like a dedicated Fortnite like teammate like for longer than like a couple months at a time, which is like crazy to think about looking back. And I honestly like going back, dude, I like wish I could have done it differently, but I mean, it's, it's where I'm at now and it's
In the sense that
what it
you
is.
wish you
But
could have had like a dedicated teammate through the whole thing.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
wish I would have had I wish I would have I wish I would have known what I've known now. And like, I've been more open to asking people how the fuck to navigate like that space and that sort of thing. So that I could have been more successful in that realm. Cause I definitely think like I was able, but I just didn't like, I was just real, like, I mean, I just didn't know how to navigate that space and how to like go about doing that thing. And I didn't like ask anyone, you know what I mean? Like, I just didn't ask anyone because I was like too prideful or
So what at what point did you join TSM? Was that your first major esports team?
yeah. I joined TSM. Fuck. I want to. When did I join TSM? Was it 2018? It was 2018. A little bit before 2018, but I'm pretty sure it was like we signed or like announced it like January 2018,
So
like of
January
the new year.
so 2018 you joined
Mhm.
TSM, but even throughout your competitive career, you didn't feel like using them as a resource because you felt like you had it, like you got it inside. Like you're like I'm not gonna pull into them or like so this is something that I've actually found. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but
bro.
yeah,
I was just like, I just doing my shit.
yeah.
I just didn't fucking like. It sounds crazy looking at it now, but
Mhm.
like, pretty much, man. I don't know something. I don't know how to exactly put it into words, but like, as a young kid, like I was just like, fuck it. Oh well, okay. So no, this actually has like deeper roots as well.
Yeah.
That I've like also worked on being better at. Like as a kid, because of the scenario that I was in, fucking seven siblings in the house, whatever, like money was tight and my siblings would do things to make money even tighter at times. And like I talked to my mom about this recently, or like I grew up being as self-reliant as I could because I didn't want anyone to have to like worry about me or like take care of me or have to like take anything from like my parents that my siblings were already like taking away from. So like even when we would go like new school shopping, like I remember like as like being like a kid, like 10, 11, just like staring at like the fucking like checkout like number and just being like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And just being like, I'm like, I'm uncomfortable with like my mom spending $200 on me for like, I would like had uncomfort with like my mom like spending money on me to like get new school clothes or like buying me things. I never asked my like even okay. This is a really funny story. I basically never asked my parents for money ever,
Yeah.
and and I remember asking my mom for $20 one day to go bowling with like some friends, and she said no, and I literally cried about it that night.
Really?
Yeah, I like cried. I was like, oh my, like I can't believe I asked them for money. Like they don't have it. Like what the fuck am I doing? Like we're poor, and and then she was like, "Oh, JK, lol, here you go." Like I was just fucking with you, and I was like, "Don't fuck with me like that. Like it's not funny." But I was like, "What the fuck?" So that's just like that was in high school though. So that was like even closer to like this fucking shit. So it just like puts you into perspective how um it puts into perspective how self reliant I wanted to be um, as a person. And then coming into esports and coming into the streaming world, you can't fucking do that.
No.
Like you just can't. You won't move forward.
Yeah.
And I've spent like I think the past 2.5 years breaking that fucking down. Like breaking down that wall of I don't want to ask people for this or I don't want help. Not because I don't want their help, but I just don't want to like be a burden. Even though I'm like really not.
But
So
you
that's where all that comes from. Yeah.
God, that's such a good answer. So how did like how did you learn to break through that? Like, why didn't you just tank the dark time yourself like you did everything else? Like, what was like the pivotal factor in that? Like, to like after, and I'm guessing what the time period we're talking about is like later 2018, I guess 2019 ish.
Mhm.
Yeah. What what was like the pivotal factor that was like whole? Because there's a real. I talk about this a lot. I think that like one of the big psychological barriers that people have is they just don't ask for help because we all
Mhm.
feel like we have to take care of it ourselves, and like especially for like
Mhm.
young men, right? Like
Mhm.
we're expected to like take that on. What like how did you break through that? Because like this story is one of the coolest ones I've ever heard. It's so cool.
I think that during the fall of like popularity in Fortnite, I was the most depressed that I've like ever been. And I think that was like the first time in my life where I've had such like a big struggle, like not struggle, but like just like something that like really fucking hit me hard was like that. And I think I like genuinely had no idea like what to fucking do.
Hmm.
So I think like even with like the esports shit, like I had an idea like in my mind, in like my little fucking arrogant mind of like what to do, right?
Hmm.
And so like I was kind of okay like not asking for help. But I think it got to a point where I was just like every fucking day, like it was just sad and I just did not know what to fucking do. Yeah. And so that made me like I think that made me like reach out and it's like when people would come to the house and we would have like a video shoot or something and or like when we would go out to like eat or something like visible. And so like it's kind of like I'm gonna talk about it to some degree at that point.
And so people, so who was it that really like you mentioned Lena? Was it really TSM
Yeah.
that kind of came together for you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I would say so, almost. And I that's why I like side note, but like I always have like a fuck ton of respect for TSM for that, like no matter what.
I can't
Because they yeah.
I can't legally agree with that
Yeah.
because of my past association. However, I respect your respect for that organization. Yeah, I because if I say that a whole other yeah,
Okay.
that's really cool that like they actually came and had your back on that. I think that's awesome.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, because this is like during this time, like it's like double ifs moving over like in the LCS, and like there's like these big moves that are going on with us and like CLG and stuff. So like classic
Mhm.
rivalry. Um,
Mhm.
but so that's really cool that they came together. And at this point, you're in a content house, right? Full time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, full time,
Okay.
yeah.
So I was also in a content house for like not really a content house, but like it was like the team, right? Like a team house
Mhm.
for like 4 or 5 years. Did that help or like or was that good or bad for you during this time?
Mm, I think it was like neutral, but like I think I didn't have I've actually talked to like my roommates about it before, like, like now that I'm like we're like past it and stuff. But I think like back then I didn't have the greatest like understanding of like what it meant to like be a roommate with other people, especially like as streamers. I think like all of us probably didn't. And so like a lot like me especially like I was just like dude like I mean you would see in the schedule like I was just streaming every fucking day
Yeah.
and I didn't like really do much like within the house. But then on top of that like I think there came like a point in time where um we're like it's really dumb looking on it now, but like looking back on it, there came a point in time where like my roommates were Day and Hams. I don't know
Okay.
if you're familiar.
Yeah, a little bit.
Daquan and Hamlins. They're
Daquan
my
Hamlin.
roommates. Yeah, and there came a point in time where like they didn't want to pursue competitive anymore.
Hmm.
And I think like at the time I was very like bothered by that sentiment. And I think that like I like looking back on it, I'm like, dude, it's completely fine. Like fuck it.
Hmm.
But like back then, when I was like, I don't know why exactly I felt that. I don't know, maybe like I felt like burned in a way or something that they didn't want to like play competitively anymore. But I was just like, damn, dude, like that's kind of as fuck. And then I think that sort of like made me less active in the house as well, like
Hmm.
compared to like what I could have been. But
What? Why did? So do you still compete?
I don't compete in Fortnite anymore. I
Can
don't
you
compete like competitively in any game.
can you compete in Fortnite right now? Like, is that a thing? I'm not even
If I
sure.
wanted to,
Okay.
if I wanted to, yeah, I could like.
So
Do they have like open tournaments and shit that you could like go in and
so
whatnot?
when did you make the decision to actively stop competing?
I think I think it was I think I thought more about it was like toward the tail end of the decline. and I was like, okay, you know, how are we gonna like get things back, and then how am I gonna turn around like my chat culture, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I could be a pro and do that at the current point in time. So I decided to be just like, you know, funnel in on streaming more and try to be more entertaining and try to cultivate like a better environment in my chat. So that I could have, you know, so that I could not look at my fucking go live button before I go live every day and just like some days fucking cry looking at it and some days just like sitting there for 5 minutes before I actually hit it. So that like that was what was important at the time.
Been there, man. 100%. I
Mhm.
completely understand. Well, I empathetically feel you. Like,
Mm.
I had a, like I said, I had a period of time because, like, I've been streaming for 8 years, right? And 2012, 2015, I was full time. I had 3,000 to 3,500 viewers concurrently, which at that time was like pretty crazy in 2012 doing League of Legends. And when I decided to move to that variety, because I had that point in time where I like crawled under my desk and had that moment I was telling you about,
Mhm.
I went down to like less than 100 subs and like less than um like way less than like 500 viewers. Just totally like
Mhm.
one day just completely switched to variety. Just moved over, and I had that feeling, man. And eventually I think my conclusion was similar to yours. Like, you did this competitively, where like you moved from competitive to content creation. I moved from content creation to business, and was like, I need to like feel like I have an identity outside of streaming, being a streamer, so that
Mhm.
like, because I can't tie my success to this, because I just saw Twitch as like too volatile, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So that was why I got into esports. Like, is why like I transitioned into trying to build companies. And I still am like pretty firm on that. The thing with you is like, though, all of the things I just mentioned, that entire period of time happened in a span of life that you have not existed in yet. So you could do that entire life and you would still be younger. Like,
Yeah.
which is like, I think a lot of people don't understand that shit of like, right? Like people are like, oh, like, oh, like myth is here. But dude, myth hasn't even fucking begun. Okay. Like you have not even like it seems crazy, but your story is like, this is actually like, if you're writing a book about yourself, okay, you would
Mhm.
be on page like fucking 30.
Mhm.
Well, like you'd literally be you'd literally be like
Yeah.
you'll go through the forward, right? I think for your mental game, it's really important to keep that in consideration, because you might lose it in the sauce of like the day to day and the shit that's going on. But like, yeah, you're at the beginning of your fucking book. Real talk.
Mhm.
And like, and
Yep.
you got all this shit to write with it. I think that's one of the coolest things about where you're at.
Yeah, that's something to like. Do you know the song Vienna by Billy Joel?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
a song that like I listen to often.
Really.
To just like it's like you're fucking 21, dude. It's like it's okay.
Put it in perspective.
You got a lot of time to go. Slow down, you crazy child. Yeah. So yeah, there's I fucking like that song a lot because of that. And it helps me keep that in for sure.
That's really cool. So when on the competition thing, you decided to stop competing because you said you wanted to sort of reform the stream's like energy for you. Like you're like, you wanted to
Yeah.
like, you made a conscious. So what you said, you felt like you didn't want um you said you felt like you couldn't do that while you're competing. Well, like, so what happened there?
Well, I think it just got to a point where like I was just like I think like I just got to a point where like I just didn't feel like I could compete anymore, like at the high level. Like I think I was also just like, nah, like I just don't. I'm not confident like enough in like my ability. And it's also I think another thing like combined on top of that was I I felt I had more fun streaming at that time as well.
Hmm.
Like I like when we would fuck around and have like a good stream, like I had a lot more time with that for sure than like competing. And even though the idea of like winning a tournament was something that like always was just like was like really fucking like nice and stuff. Like I had something that was really good that I really liked already that I just thought I kind of want to just put more into this and put more energy into that. I put more energy into streaming and see where it goes from where I'm at, so that I can turn things around a little bit more. And like, I know it sounds weird, but like when you have to turn on your like, I feel like it's also more tangible in a way to like, okay, like improve your chat culture and like your stream and like improve it than like just streaming less and then trying to become a better pro.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's how I think about it looking back on it. I don't know if that was like my mindset, like going into it. I think I just overall just wanted to stream more. Oh, fuck, dude. Wait, actually, no. Yeah, I know. I definitely wanted to stream because Fortnite competitive was like evolving to like a shit show. Like it was just really fucking bad as well. Yeah, Fortnite competitive is it was like, is and was like I don't know. I can't say is anymore. I'm not like too dialed in on Fortnite competitive. Talking. But like back when I was a pro and like still trying to make it, there were still like big fucking there were still just like, you would go to a tournament, we literally flew to Poland. Like IEM Katowice, like Fortnite.
Yeah.
We flew to Poland. And the day of the tournament, there was a big patch update that changed the game.
Oh.
Like it literally, like Team Liquid, their players were like completely fucked. Like the quadrant of the map that they would drop in was just erased and changed. And so then then like where I was dropping was completely changed. So we changed our strategy as well a little bit and had to like alter it like a tiny bit, like the rotations and the things that and the way that we would go about like the mid game. And so it was just like, well, fuck. It's just like, well, like this is what we got to deal with. And I remember talking to fucking what CSGO team? What's like the best CSGO team? It starts with like an A.
Astralis, yeah.
Dude, I was at we were at the like the bar one night. They were like having some drinks and somebody like they like greeted me with them. I was like, oh, what's up? And we started talking and they were talking about Fortnite. And I brought up the fact that there was a big update that like just happened like in our game for the tournament. And they were just like,
yeah, tell the CSGO guys that.
Like it literally like broke the fucking gears in their brain. I swear to God, their brain stopped working and like stopped functioning. They were just like, "What do you mean? You need an update on the day of the tournament?" And this is like a regular thing with Fortnite by now. Like this is just something that like we're used to. The gears in their brain just stopped fucking working. They were shocked. Yeah, the cogger just stopped cogging. You know what I mean?
Because like for like a Valve game, like those guys do updates like every 6 months. No, it's like every 6 months, and it's like there's we changed like the bullet trajectory of a gun by like 0.3 centimeters. And then there's like 800 YouTube videos about it. Yeah.
And imagine that happening like at a major. Like IEM Katowice was like a major for us, basically. Like that was a big fucking event. That was a huge fucking event, man. And they just were like, yeah, fuck it, we're changing the map. But then there's like, I like there came a point in time where I was just like, dude, like Fortnite competitive, like it isn't even worth being a competitive person in this game because it's just so fucking like, there's so many things that like in the esports scene for Fortnite that people just don't know about that makes it so fucking hard to be a competitive figure in that scene. Like I have so much respect for Fortnite pros actually that like consistently are successful because holy fuck, do they have to work through a bunch of hoops and like jump a bunch of. For example, like at IEM Katowice, we would be given like 30 to 40 minutes to warm up. Like every player. Like you just have 30 to 40 minutes. You go there, you get there. It's like, okay, warm up is happening at this time. Like you're already there though. So it's like, okay, warm up is happening at this time. You'll have like 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
And then we'll start playing. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I guess.
Was
like,
it
okay?
Who was running?
That's such a short amount of time.
Was this ES? IEM was IEM? What was how involved was Epic?
It was ESL.
It was ESL. It was
ESL's event.
Yeah,
it was ESL's event. But here's the thing, though. I mean, obviously it's 100 players. It's super difficult to like be, super great. But like that event was literally like, I remember pros tweeting and talking about how like that was the best like Fortnite competitive event
Hmm.
like that we've ever gotten in terms of like logistics and like warm up time and like having like a place for us to like fucking eat before the matches or like a place for us to like chill out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember thinking, and I was like, this is this is like the fucking standard, and we're just sitting here like fucking praying the lords of ESL for their great fucking tour. I'm like, this is the fucking standard that the other like industries have, and I was just like, fuck, man. But yeah, so tying back all the way back is like I also it came to a time where I was just like, I don't think Fortnite competitive is just like the wave in general. I just don't like where their direction,
Did you?
which is really sad because I literally like I was someone that literally like gave birth to Fortnite competitive.
In what sense?
Like I started up one of like the first scrim discords for like all the pros and like helped cultivate like that pro culture like from the start.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
This was
There
back.
was one other like there was one other like scrim service, but it was like open to everyone. But then like I made like an exclusive Discord for like people that like really wanted to take it seriously and like grind out every day.
Mhm.
And I made that and invited a bunch of people and like ran it like religiously like almost every day. And then on top of that, like I was also the first Fortnite pro ever,
Really?
or like I was the first like I was the first tier 1 signed pro for Fortnite.
No shit. What?
Pretty
I
much,
didn't
yeah.
know that. So you, why did you, oh wait, so did you just like have a vision for Fortnite competitive before there was one? Like before
Oh
Epic
yeah.
even knew?
Well, yeah, I mean, I did. I mean, TSM did. Like, I mean, we all kind of hoping that like it was going to be good.
Do you feel like you
'Cause
kind of forced Epic, not forced like being the weird word, but like you like helped Epic get to that mindset of like what it created today?
I don't think so. I don't think that far about it. No.
Hmm. But you, like what? I guess like what? See, this is a trend with you, man. Like you think about doing something in a vacuum of nobody else doing it. Like what made you think of starting to compete in Fortnite? Like why did you want to do that? Because at that
I
time,
mean,
that was
other esports had like competitive like communities. Like, I mean, other battle royales had competitive communities. So it's just like I could see it working with this game as well.
damn.
Because like PUBG had a pro scene, like other battle royales had like a pro scene. H1Z1 had a pro scene, and with Fortnite as well. Like dude, like people fucking meme on Fortnite so hard, and it's so fucking sad. But like Fortnite, by all means, is the most like mechanically intense, one of the most mechanically intensive games to come out in the last like 10 years.
Mm,
Like
by
easily.
far, yeah, easily.
It is
Mhm.
fucking crazy how good you could become at that game, and like the mechanical skill cap of that game is fucking brutal. And like it's such a beautiful game in that way, but then it's like there's like it's really difficult to translate that beauty of like the mechanics into like a BR setting
Mhm.
because of like the random elements of it. But then it's like, there was never like we never found like a good way to like take it out of a BR setting and bring it to like a more competitive environment, like a 5v5 or 4v4, like arena style type shit. So it was just kind of like, it's kind of tough in that way.
When you were first like building that Discord, was your objective to sort of like up the skill cap that you kind of saw the potential of at that time? Like, did you just want like people to get better? Like, where was your head at?
Yeah. I wanted to just get better, and I wanted to be with other people that would get better with like a no bullshit fucking like rule also set in place.
What's like a
So
no
like
bullshit
early
rule?
on it, like early in that Discord, I basically said like, if you're gonna be a fucking drama queen, if you're gonna like be fucking like, if you're gonna be, hold up, let me. I think I still have the Discord for
You
like
have the
nostalgia
message?
purposes. Let me write. Yeah, let me like read you the message
I
that I
gotta
wrote
see
like
this.
in the rule.
This is amazing.
So the rules. Oh, this is a no fucking drama zone. Keep the vibes chill. I'll personally fucking hug you to death if you try to start shit between others. Please and thank you, X. So like we just like it was like you get one warning, and like after that you're just fucking out. Like there was just no bull.
And
Like,
this
I'm
is
not dealing with it.
this is like a group of like the best Fortnite players at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this group has the literally the best, like every fucking the best Fortnite players of all time were in this Discord. Even like people that like just recently retired, like were in like this Discord like day one.
And you scheduled the scrims between them. Like you started building scrims between them.
Yeah, we had like there were other people that helped me like get it as well, but we would do like every day at this time there'd be solos, every day at this time there'd be squads. Every day at this time, this is what the schedule would be. Yeah.
Did that also feed into your stream content? Like you stream all that?
Yeah, I would stream it as well.
So
I think it was a lot of fun for people to watch as well. It's kind of like boring in some moments because you're just kind of like sitting in a box, but like late game, like when shit would get intense and you'd like win or pop off, like people love that shit. People love that shit.
This is one of the big differences between Fortnite esports and like a lot of the more I would call traditional is a weird word, but I'd say like older esports like Smash, League of Legends, CS:GO. They never stream scrims, right? Like, because they feel, and I wonder, I always like thought about this. Like, I don't like know how harmful it would really be. Yeah.
And something to know that's really important as well. I think the main reason why we were really comfortable streaming scrims at this time is because there was actually no tournaments at this time as well. So it was like pure, just like, there was no tournaments to like look forward to. So we were all literally just like practicing mechanically. Even at this time, there were no custom matches. So the way that we actually scrimmed was, we would all hop into like this voice channel, and then I would count down. I'll be like, okay, on 1, you press play. No, deadass. That's how we did it. At 1, you press play. And so you go 3, 2, 1, and then everyone presses the play button. And then we would type in the last 4 digits of like the unique game, like ID code in the top left corner. And that's how you just figured out if you fucking got in a scrim, like a good scrim game or not. So we would you would type in. So we had we had solo snipe, we had squad snipes chat. And then we would I would type in the code of our lobby. Like every team leader would type in the code of their lobby, or they would add a reaction to the code that they already see so that we would know if lobbies were stacked or not, or like how many teams were in the lobby.
So what would happen if you didn't get in? You just wait?
Yeah, you literally just wouldn't get into a match. Like there'd be some days where you would scrim for 3 hours and only get into 1 game. Dude, you just wouldn't get into games. Yeah, we call it you bricked. It's like when you didn't get in. Yeah, you bricked. You didn't get in a lobby, like you got bricked.
This reminds me of in League of Legends, if we wanted to play out like a specific scenario, like let's say we wanted to play out like a 12-minute dragon, right? You for the longest ass time, you couldn't actually go into the game and like switch. Like there's no custom sandbox, right? So you literally have to play the whole game through to 12 minutes or like 30 minutes or whatever, like do the whole thing and then restart the scrim, right? And you'd have to do this in coordination with another team. It's like really similar. It's like it's so frustrating when developers like don't build support for like the most basic competitive needs, right? Like it's like if you guys just made a like a fast forward, like I play a lot of Beat Saber, and I'm like really into it. And there's just like a really simple feature in Beat Saber where you can like forward to like 2 minutes in the song and just do a set. And you're like, okay, I like you can't do that. And like League or Fortnite, like you can't get to like end game is end game. You got to play end game from the end game. So then scrims become a matter of hours in, right? Because it's just you're learning every aspect of that. And that's why esports players practice so fucking much. Like that's why like you look at the LCS. And like to this day, those guys are scrimming like 10 hours a day because you have to play every single aspect of that game over and over again, and you can't repeat certain instances.
That's valid.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then and then our scrims like evolved. We actually we had like some talented people in there. So like we had like this programmer like make us like a bot that would actually like count down for us so that it's not delayed through everybody else in the Discord through the voice. And then on top of that, you would put in your code, and then it would automatically collect all the codes and like sort them into like numbers and groups. So like code ABCD, if like 20 people had that code, it would have like ABCD and then like 20 like beside it, like a number. So like we like evolved over time through our scuffed ass system.
So you were also playing games with. There's no way you had a full BR worth of like people from the Discord. So you would be playing with randos too.
Yeah, randos would just get fucking shit on. Yeah, there's like basically like Randoms would just get shot. There was one time where a rando actually ended up fucking beating one of the games, and the fucking Discord went crazy. Like everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is fucking crazy!" And it was like, "Is he in the Discord? Is he in the Discord?" Yeah, I think that was a good moment.
So everybody like is like queuing into these games, and basically you're like some 12-year-old. You're on your like dad's PC. You queue in, and it's just like Myth and like fucking 30 other pros in the game randomly, and you just get totally booty blasted. Like this is that's so bad.
I would get donos of just dude. No, there were some times where like I was just playing on stream, and I would get into matches, like just not like intentionally. And I'd be like, oh, fuck. I guess I'm screaming all of a sudden. Like, I'll fucking, fix up my posture. I'll get ready. Like, I'll start, like, micromanaging what I'm doing in games so that I could, like, optimize my fucking, like, material count by, like, a certain time.
Yeah.
It's just really fucky, yeah.
Oh, because you would jump into a random scrim. And
yeah, I was just playing and streaming. And I would just, like, get into a scrim server, like, accidentally. Because you just, like, queue up into it. Timing.
That's crazy. Holy. So like you're streaming all of these scrims and you're competing in real time in all of these tournaments and you're scheduling all of this and you're building your brand. But you're putting in like 90-hour weeks or like what? Like
90-hour, fuck.
Like this is just like an insane amount of time.
Yeah, I was streaming a fuck ton when we first moved and doing a lot of Fortnite, yeah.
Dude. That's actually crazy. Like, did you even think during that time, like, or you just had so much work ethic, like you're just going, like day to day?
Think about what?
Just like, did you ever like think about like taking because you never took a step back. I'm looking at this whole like when I'm looking at like this like graph here, it's like this is like every day, man. For like you're looking at like 12, 12, 12, 13. That's just live. And then you're coordinating all this shit and competing after that, right?
Yeah.
So like you're probably spending like 10 to 12 hours a day on just live streaming, and then you're organizing on top of that probably another like 3 or 4. Just an insane amount of drive.
Maybe like 2.
Yeah.
More toward 2, but yeah.
Damn,
yeah,
bro.
Literally. I mean, during that time, you wake up and you eat, sleep, breathe Fortnite. That's just all I focused on. And once again, like it came to like one of those things where like we talked about before, like when I'm sort of like set on something, it's just like 100% commitment from that moment. Especially if I'm like really into it. If I'm really into something and I like decide, I'm like, dude, I fucking like I'm doing this. Like this is it. And I'm like passionate about it. Like I just don't think, and which sometimes like could be good and bad because I don't like. I think like there are times where I have the work ethic to fucking do things, but there are times where I don't take a step back to like think about how I'm going to do those things. You know what I mean? So I think there's like a positive and negative there.
You're just in the moment.
Yeah.
Your consistency is totally insane. You're like one of the most consistent people I've ever seen. And then like it's so crazy how you can ramp up too. Like if you need to do like 16-hour days, and like you're still so. Do you feel like I'm even looking at like, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, man, there's like 11, 16, 14, 15, right?
Oh, fucking Rust, dude.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah, it was Rust.
Yeah. Okay. Like
Rust fucked me up, dude.
Why?
Because I stopped. My eating habits changed because of Rust.
What do you mean?
I had like this really weird relationship with food where, like, the best way I like to put it is like, you ever get like post-nut depression?
Of course. Yeah.
So like, I would get I would get hungry. I'd be like, man, I really want to eat somewhere. I want to eat a nice big meal. And then I would order something. I would take 2 bites, and I'd be like, this is fucking gross. Like, I just don't want to eat this anymore. And it'd be like good food. Like, I'm just not fucking in the mood. And what I realized, like looking at it a little bit more, is like I was so fucking like into Rust that like anything outside of Rust was like a nuisance. It was like bothersome. So like even eating, like I wouldn't eat till satisfaction. I would eat till I have enough food in my system for my body to like
play
function.
more Rust. Just eat enough.
Yeah, so I could function. So that I could function. So like my blood sugar rises up a little bit more so that I could fucking keep playing and feel okay. But like I lost 4 pounds during the 2 weeks of like the Rust session, like the Rust shit.
Damn.
I literally lost like four pounds. Like, I think maybe a little bit earlier before that too, but like yeah, I lost like 4 pounds
And you're
throughout
good
that
now.
session.
You're pretty much not playing.
Yeah, now I'm not playing Rust, and I'm like, I'm eating, and I gained some weight back.
I wonder why it died so fast. That was something I didn't expect.
I think it'll come back.
You do?
I genuinely think it'll come back. Yeah, I think there just needs to be some thought, and I think I'm gonna do this after this PogChamps like chess tournament
Yeah.
that I have upcoming. But I think there just needs to be some time and thought put into how a server. I was talking. Well, we're talking about this on the podcast with
Yeah.
I think it was Sire.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
how you
Seer.
pronounce his
Yeah.
name? Yeah, Seer.
I think it's Seer. CYR. Yeah.
Seer.
Mhm.
Yeah, Seer. Where we were talking about like the worlds need a I think it's very important for the worlds to have like a narrative before you throw people into them.
What do you mean?
Like the world should already like, for example, I give up the idea like what if there was a world where like for example, like there's a big island in the middle
Mhm.
and all the players could like all that's where like all like the good loot is and like the high tier like monuments and stuff are. But then players could only build like on their island that's around the big island.
Oh.
And so like there needs to be like some sort of there needs to be something to like drive players into like a pre-existing storyline that like the world like already has, I think. And I think when those ideas start popping off in Rust, like Rust will come back and it'll come back even stronger because it'll be more entertaining.
What was your thoughts on like the sort of recent? Did you play Among Us?
Yeah, I did play Among Us.
What are your thoughts on like the recent sort of shift of Twitch to like the collab meta? Have you also been one of those people that like has now been introduced to like hundreds of other streamers because yeah, okay. And like
Yeah.
like how do you like do you feel like that was like looking at it from like the outside? I just don't have time. I can't do like I don't do gameplay
Mhm.
streams because I just like I'm just all in on business shit. But
Mhm.
I saw something happen on Twitch that I think I've never seen happen before, which was like Twitch like very deliberately with Among Us started with Among Us like now all of a sudden you have people that are playing in these communities of like dozens of broadcasters. You're meeting tons of different people.
Mhm.
Was this like a significant shift in streaming for you like over the past like few months?
I think so. Like back when I played Valorant a lot, like it reminded me of like the OG fucking Fortnite days.
In
Where
what
it's like
sense?
people to come together, like so many people were coming together to play Fortnite, and like you'd hop in a squad with one streamer, and they would invite like two of their friends that you've never met before, and you'd meet. But obviously, like Among Us is on like a much larger scale because it's like fucking 10 people or whatever, 10 streamers.
Yeah.
So for me, it was something I really enjoyed. Like it was really nice to just have a game and be able to meet so many new people and be able to like not only would you meet that person and like play like a game or two, but you'd like play like for like hours with like that group or whatever. Or like you change out your group and go play with another group for like hours. It's really interesting. And I think Among Us is like a very like good game to meet new people in. If that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
Did it change your view on how to do content at all? Or
In
you,
a way,
yeah.
I think so. Like I think especially like more so with Rust as well. I've been trying to think about like I think like so like the collab meta and whatever, but like I think like survival games as well could really have like a main stage in when it comes to like collab meta. And I'm interested in exploring that, especially because I'm like very interested in survival
I think you're right.
myself.
I did a YouTube video where we like pulled up like sort of how the collab meta has evolved. I think it was just called like something
Mhm.
about collab meta. I was like,
I watched it.
oh, you watched it? The new Twitch meta one?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think you watched my videos?
Well, I watched that one.
Thanks. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. I didn't know that, man. That's awesome. I'm really happy about that. Thanks. Yeah, that's cool. Like and like the sort of thrust of that video was that I think this is going to keep going. That like Twitch has sort of been forever changed by Among Us. And
Mhm.
that a lot of people may not see that yet, but that like it is so advantageous for content creators to team up because
Yeah.
one, it like passively seems to increase viewership by like a huge amount, but it
Mhm.
also it also I don't want to say this in like a derogatory way, but it also is easier. Like you don't
Mhm.
if you can play Among Us with 10 other streamers, like you can show up and then it's the sort of like interaction of personalities that carries it. You don't have to like
Yeah.
show up for your show in the same energy.
Yeah, not in the same way at all. I agree.
hmm And so
Mhm.
in doing so, I think that's like literally the future of Twitch is like for
Mhm.
the foreseeable future. I think survival games have an enormous like implication to like how successful they're going to be in that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you think there's something I was wondering? Like, do you think like with the Rust boom that happened, do you think it's do you think it's possible that it like opened up other developers' eyes to creating similar games to Rust?
I think Among Us did that because
Okay.
Among Us was so Rust also did it, but the thing with Among Us is Among Us 2.5 years ago was like a 3-person studio that had
Yeah.
15 people playing their game.
Mhm.
And we watched that go from because what happened with here's the thing about Among Us, right? Among Us is a game that is like if you go to like Japan and you go to like vending machines, there's like little Among Us space guys. You can it's totally mainstream. Like it's completely normie,
Mhm.
right? It's just dead normie. It's like your kids will be talking about playing it on like mobile phones and shit. So like
Yeah, yeah.
what happened was like a game like that that had like 15 viewers became that because of Twitch. And so, like, what you'll see, you won't see it happen immediately, but for like the next like 3 to 4 years, every publisher, especially indie publishers, will be like, "How do I capture that?" And a lot
Yeah.
of people will make games that are like social or like the idea of having like a game made for Twitch interactions and collaborations. And I think like a lot of these kind of games, like if you ever played like Werewolf or like Throne of Lies or like any of those kind of games, those games will sort of be digitized. Like I know Throne of Lies exists right now, but like those games will be made like for Twitch in the next 3 to 4 years, and then like people will collab on them. I think it's completely changed. It's complete. It's completely changed the ecosystem in like a really really big way.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah,
I think it's interesting.
it's
I
super
think it's
interesting.
like crazy. I think it's crazy that like, for so long I feel like a lot of the meta on Twitch for a really long time was like these FPS like arena games or whatever.
Mhm.
And now it's like so interesting seeing like the shift to like these more like personality like group based things. It makes me like wonder like when the next shooter like arena shooter that's like really popular like comes out, if it will be if people will like it as much because of them getting used to like their more like personality focused like group dynamic content that they've been watching. Because I mean, like when you think about like let's say fucking Overwatch 2 comes out or whatever, and I don't know all the details on Overwatch 2, so don't fuck it, like
Yeah.
don't fucking copy paste this chat, but like let's say like let's say you have like what will become like how will it play out for the directory? Like, will the top players fucking be the ones that are topping the charts, or will it be like the fun friend groups of like Sakuno and fucking all that, that group like doing
Oh,
their thing? Or will it be both? Like, there for sure could be. I mean, I think they're definitely two different communities. But like, will both just fucking rise to the top? Or like, how will that change the dynamic of even those like streaming those games that are like have a competitive focus?
dude, you just taught me so I never knew that. I never even thought about that. That maybe the entire
Mhm.
like new meta of Twitch like isn't that this collab meta is like you get like Sakuno. I mean XQC is kind of like XQC, so he's kind of like outside of it. But yeah, like the dudes that like Valkyrie, the people that do like almost exclusive Corpse Husband, right? And, like maybe
Yeah,
they get on.
Corpse, Sakuno, Corpse, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe
OG
they
that group, yeah.
maybe they get on like a BR type game and they actually do better than the FPS people because
Mhm.
because the audience has shifted to watch collab in that way. So they like queue up to get that's actually insane, man. I'll have to think a lot about that.
Yeah, although I definitely do think, like, at the end of the like, for most FPS games, like, your top players are always going to be the fucking like they're going to be dominating the charts, right? Because I think they like those players like drive a lot of the culture for those types of games,
Yeah,
and they
skill.
drive like a lot of the interesting moments. Yeah, because they are like skill focused games for the most part, and most people like want to get better at them. Like Valorant's like an interesting point as well because it's like I don't think you that would like I guess like sort of like people thought that a similar thing would happen toward Valorant.
Mhm.
But I think like with a game that's a little bit faster that like appeals to like a younger audience, that's where you would that's the type of game that I'm like thinking of, I guess, of this happening with.
Valorant is early. I think a lot of people are not realizing how long term Riot's plan is for Valorant. They're
Oh
looking
yeah.
at it like a CS:GO type thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh for sure. Yeah.
and like a lot of people
That's why I
think
think it's.
was why you think it's
Sorry,
what?
go ahead.
No, no, please. Yeah.
Oh, that's why like sometimes I think about Valorant and I'm like, because I did ditch Warzone for Valorant,
Yeah.
like pretty much. I did 24-hour streams for Valorant, like off
Holy
rip.
shit.
And I remember looking back on it now, like, dude, like I wonder how valuable me being in the position that I'm in with Valorant is going to be in the next, let's say 2 to 3, even maybe even 4 years.
Yeah.
When it comes to like the fact that I'm already like a figure that like represents the scene in a way, like the competitive scene. But I'm not a fucking competitive player. Like, so it's like it's really interesting. And like I wonder where that will potentially go or where it won't go, and like how it pays off and how it doesn't pay off. I think it's super interesting.
League of Legends, like people don't realize, took like 10 years to get to where it is, and now is growing like 30 or 40% a year. And like Valorant is
Yeah.
exactly the same thing. It's gonna take a long ass time for Valorant to get to the point where like it's like and like Riot knows that. And yeah, I don't know, I
Mhm.
don't even know like where it goes in like 3 or 4 years. Like that's like that I have no idea. Like I think it's a long burn, like you think it is too.
Mhm.
Will you go back to competitive if a huge FPS appears like that? Have you thought about that?
I've thought about it a lot. I really want to.
Yeah. You're still in the game.
I think
I mean,
yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
think I have like I think I'm there mentally to like really be a fucking like top tier fucking
I
competitor.
think
If
so
like a
too.
game came out that really like piqued my fucking interest. Like I really think like I'd fucking eat that shit out. Like I'd eat its ass out hard.
You saw it with Rust, right? You just immediately started poop sucking it. Like
What's up?
with Rust, like you just poop sucked it immediately when you got interested in it.
Yeah.
So in the same
Yeah.
way, if you found like a BR or you found like an FPS that you were really into,
Yeah.
go
I
back
don't
into
think
it.
I would ever do BR, but if there was like an FPS like arena game that was like taking over the fucking world by storm and I was already on it and grinding it hard body, like,
You won't do another BR?
dude, I would fucking love to be. No, probably not.
Why?
Like, okay, a BR in the current form and definition that like BRs are considered as like right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think BRs today aren't like. I just don't think it's healthy for me mentally, like to be a pro in a BR. Like, I really just fucking don't.
What's the difference
Like,
between
that's straight up.
BR versus arena in that sense? Like what's the
Because
mental difference?
because you like so when I'm playing a game like Valorant, I simply could become better at the game by being aware of timing, of just like how long it takes for a person to get here, how
Yeah.
long it takes for a person to get there. How long does it take for me to defuse the bomb? How long does it take to do this? There's a bunch of fucking things that you could just count the timing for to make you better at the game. But in a BR, for example, there are so many random fucking elements that it's like that are out of your control that you can't account for, that'll just end up fucking you over. And it's just like, okay, well that's it. Like in Fortnite, let's say like two teams just get rocket launchers and
Yeah.
they just feel like rocket launchering my fucking base. So it's just like, okay, like I'm fucked, I'm dead, it's over.
Isn't there still isn't one of the biggest things they did is they put in mechs? Is that still a thing?
Oh my god, no, that's not a thing. But that was a terrible fucking time. That was a
They
dark
took
time.
him out?
Yeah, they took him out.
Oh shit,
That
yeah.
was a dark time.
See,
That was such a dark time, dude. You want to know? You want to know what I thought of when they fucking were brought that into the game and they were justifying it?
What?
I brought up an argument where so Fortnite's argument was like mechs only kill X amount of percent of people, like in a game. And I was like, let me figure out like what only kills an X amount of people in the United States. And I looked up the statistics for like gun deaths in America, and it was like pretty fucking close. And I was like, so I mean, does it just not matter? I mean, I feel like the way that this percentage gets fucked should definitely be taken into consideration, right? I really think it should be taken into consideration, even if it's 1 fucking percent. They're like, yeah, well, statistically speaking, only X amount of percentage of players die from mechs. And I remember literally, I Googled one day, I was like, how many people die of death? It's like, oh, it's a very similar number.
Dude, that's actually,
it's a good time.
Actually so funny. So did you like, okay, so like, did you like, that was like the period of time where like, people just wanted to stop playing competitive because
the pros took like week breaks, like straight up breaks that season. They were just like, fuck it, I'm not playing the game.
Straight up, because like well, Epic was basically like catering to casual players, right? Like just straight up.
Yeah, pretty much. But like I as much as I joke and talk about Valorant competitive, I also want to address the fact that like I think also as well, like towards the end of my Valorant pro career, like I was very like I wasn't like mad at Epic or like I was never like really crazy towards the end about like the things that they were doing. And the way that I looked at it was like, okay, dude, you know, if you want to be Toys R Us, like cool, like that's you. And I honestly like you have a market, there's a market there. And if that's what they want to do, like that's what they want to do. But like I want to shop at fucking what's that fucking like
boutique store.
That fucking hunting store. What's that fucking hunting store? Big Fish or whatever. Like,
all right, not
you know what I mean?
They
sell like guns and shit.
Yeah.
Cabela's.
Cabela's. Yeah.
I want to shop at Cabela's, and honestly, like, I shouldn't try to turn Toys R Us into Cabela's. Or Bass fucking Pro Shop.
You're not looking to buy a shotgun at Toys R Us.
Exactly. And so that was like, I will fucking joke and make jokes about Fortnite and competitive and everything, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to that, where it's like they were trying to be a different shop, and that's just not the shop for me.
Yeah.
You know?
So
I respect them for that still, like, you know.
You do.
In a way, yeah. Like I don't hate them for doing the moves that they made just because it's not like what I want. There's now mind you, like while they were still figuring shit out, there was a lot of fucked up shit that they just didn't do right. Like by all means, I think everyone will take that by them, but like when I started enjoying Fortnite more, where I was still streaming it like 11 hours a day, but like not really enjoying it as much. That's like the mentality that I had. I was like, dude, like this is not the game if you want to be a competitive like gamer. Like that's not their priority. That's not their focus.
So that's your
and
feeling
like
on
seeing
BRs.
it from that's my feeling on like Fortnite. I think other BRs try to take it a different direction. And I think like a BR, like for me to want to go competitive in a BR in the future, they're gonna have to like have that be like focused,
competitive focus.
And I have like this philosophy on BRs and like where they're gonna go and how they're gonna move. But like basically Fortnite like changed the game entirely. BRs are no longer gonna be these fucking like stand behind a tree, peek out, shoot games. It's gonna be counter mechanics. It's gonna be comeback mechanics, strategies. Yeah, it's gonna be very dynamic. And I think that's good for like the genre, and that's good for competitive. But I mean, we'll see where it goes.
Did you get into Apex at all?
Yeah, I thought Apex was. I think I didn't get into it too hard when it came out because I was still like grinding out Fortnite.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Apex is like one of the. What's my BR tier list? Hold up.
You have a BR tier list?
Yeah, I have a BR tier list. 1 second.
I'll be right back real quick if it needs. I drink like 2 gallons of water a day, so I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. Chat, what's my BR tier list? Myth. Apex Legends is number 2. BR Apex was number 2 on my list, chat. Do people flex how much water they drink? Why do people flex how much water they drink? What are you talking about? Valorant today? Probably a little bit of Valorant, chat. What's up? How you guys doing? You enjoying this stream? Yeah, I've been live for 3 hours. I need to get some water, actually. Fuck. I need to take a piss. God damn. Hi, Wave'em. How you doing, buddy? Am I invested in GameStop? No, I'm not invested in GameStop.
Yep.
But okay, yeah. Apex Legends is on my it's number 2 on my like BR list. Like my BR tier list.
What's number 1?
Number 1 is Fortnite.
Okay. So
basically this is like a list that I've put together that basically it's like what BR games I think have contributed the most to the BR genre and the progression of the genre.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. So okay, yeah. So you have can you show your tier list or is it on your stream? Or like or you just so
it's Fortnite,
yeah,
Apex, Warzone. I have a tweet of it here. I can send it to you through Discord. That's what I'm looking at. There you go.
Let me see. That's definitely not the link.
Oh, that is not the link. Oh, true. I fucking took it from my gaming PC.
This
thinking I could copy
literally
and paste.
linked me his donation page. Like that's literally what just happened. He was like, "Here, donate." By the way, give me money.
Twitter myth.
It's literally a Streamlabs link. Holy shit!
Here you go.
Fortnite, Apex, Warzone, Hyperscape, Star.
Yeah, that's what because it just came out at the time, so I was like, that doesn't really it kind of doesn't belong on the list.
Realm Royale, man, that game was a fucking trip. Realm Royale was my favorite BR of all time. In beta.
Really?
In beta.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like the idea of having like a class-based system with abilities was very cool.
Yep.
And like Realm Royale had some of the highest potential for any like I'm probably getting like your community is probably like hardcore VR people, so like I'm probably gonna get torched.
No, they probably agree with you.
Really?
Yeah, because that's how a lot of people felt about Realm Royale.
Yeah. And then
that's how like a lot of the players. Then just went down the fucking shit.
I've never seen potential flush down the toilet that hard.
It's funny.
Like I felt like Realm Royale could have legit been the next like Fortnite if they had just stayed on the path that they were in beta. And now there's like 30 people playing. They might shut it down. I don't even know if they did.
I'm not too sure myself.
Yeah, Hi-Rez is just that kind of people. Like they come with this like unbelievable idea, and then they just absolutely just nuke it. That's so brutal. But it's interesting that you put that on the list because I think that the class-based system like then led to games like Spellbreak and shit like that kind of like made it a little bit more unique to play in BRs. Think about it. And now I don't know where BRs go. Like it's hard to say because it feels like a lot of it's been done. In a weird way, they're kind of like in the same place that MMOs are in right now, which is like shit. Like no one's like really figured out how to like super innovate on this so that it's like really different. And because of that, they're kind of stagnating.
Yeah, I think Apex and Fortnite are like the biggest innovators
for sure
in the past X amount of years for battle royales. But then but what I think is really interesting though is like Warzone actually is something that like kind of like it's so interesting because I think Warzone's like number one appeal is making people feel like they're really good at the game.
Is it true?
Or like really good at FPS games. Yeah. Like I might get a lot of shit for saying this, but like Like it's definitely like the battle royale that's like catered the most towards like controller players. Like they have 60 to like 100 round magazines. It's yeah, that's just COD in general, pretty much.
Hmm.
But that's a true point. That's a COD is a fucking shooter that is built for controller players in mind. So it's honestly like built for a mass, like a bigger audience, a way bigger audience than like a PC based primarily like battle royale is.
Do you still shred if you're good at the game though, right? Like Nick Burke's
Huh?
probably just like you still shred if you're good at the game though, right? Like Nick Burke's probably
Yeah,
yeah,
for
okay,
sure,
yeah.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. Like even, but like there's a lot of there's like so it's Warzone is the type of FPS game where I feel like you don't have to be you don't have to be like crazy talented in the FPS like genre to
Mhm.
do good. Like or to just be good. Like good. Like just good,
What do you
if that
mean?
makes sense. Because like the shooting mechanics and the mechanics that are involved in the game aren't like deep enough to where like it would really challenge someone mechanically
Okay.
compared to like a game like Valorant, for
Yeah,
example.
Valorant's very high skill cap. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the game isn't really about like flicking. It's not like about like the game is basically like a tracking fucking simulator for battle royale games. Like I guess you snipe every once in a while, but like for the most part, you're beaming someone out from like a mile away with a fucking with little to no recoil and just blowing off their fucking face.
This is what dude. So I have this like incredible regret in my life, okay? Because I feel like when you are a kid as a gamer, you can choose two paths, okay? The path of the FPS player or like the weird path of like the MMO strategy player, okay? And like I feel like I was at like a division and I was like choose one and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go play StarCraft 2. And it's like wrong. Like I just fucked up. Like I say like it's like, okay, this has 1,000
Raw.
players, nobody watches it, like
Yeah.
nobody cares. Me like like then like meanwhile FPS is like you can
Yeah.
transition to any fucking game that you want. Like you're playing
Yeah.
Valorant, you're playing that. Like if I play StarCraft 2, like that's utterly useless to like everything else that
Yeah.
I do in my life. Like the fact that I was
Yeah.
like a diamond Zerg just doesn't matter.
Yeah. I've thought about this before actually. I've like given my younger self a pat on the back for like playing fucking shooter games as much as I
It was
did.
really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that should work. That should work the fuck out, dude.
I made that transition like because when I started playing, I started on Brood War. And like I played a shit ton of StarCraft, and then I went Masters in StarCraft 2, got really serious, was doing
Mhm.
like everything. And then I like by the time, and then I got into MMOs, so I was playing like everything from like EverQuest to like World of Warcraft to like everything. And I'm like, by the time
Mhm.
I got to the end, it's like nowadays, like my main game is like Path of Exile, right? Where it's like I did like nobody watches this, like nobody cares. It's just like this like weird
Uh,
game where you're like calculating build percentages and stuff, and like
mhm.
yeah, you set yourself up so well as an FPS gamer to like get as soon as something like Warzone comes out or like there will always be the next FPS and you'll always be on
Yeah.
top of it as long as your game is good because the fundamentals are there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and like as you play more and more FPS games, like you kind of just they're like diminishing. No. Yeah, like as you play more and more in FPS games, like you get you develop like a better understanding of like how to play FPS. You like learn from like the past one and like integrate it into like something into the next one.
Because
It's
the
like really
principles
big.
are the same, right?
Yeah, because the principles are really similar.
So you never meet an FPS game you're bad at, basically.
I mean, I don't think that there's an FPS game that I can't get good at.
Okay. Do you start?
I think I'd say that.
Do you start bad at it, or do you literally just like spawn in and you're just wrecking people? You're probably way better than the average person, even just going in.
I would say above. I would say like above average.
That's it.
I think that's good. I think that's good. That's something to be really proud of.
So if you play like Apex for the first time, you'd say you're just above average.
If I play Apex for the first time, I would say like within like my first like I guess I don't know. Let me I don't know. Well, like what's the chart we're working with here? Like okay, so like there's like average, there's like above average, there's
Yeah.
like
Good,
and what's like then there's
exceptional. Yeah,
good, exceptional. Okay,
exceptional.
I
then
would say
pro.
that I would say that I would be like good when it comes to like I don't know. I'd say I was good when it comes to like new games that I end up playing, new shooters that I end up playing.
Okay, because like when I play a
Or
shooter,
at least that's what I get. That's what I also get. I like when I play a new shooter as well, and it like especially when it comes to these new shooters that have already like developed communities and have like people that have played for like fucking years on end.
Yeah.
Um, I have people that have like played the games like tell me that like, okay, you're picking this up faster, like a lot faster than like regular people, or like you're a lot further ahead than like day one compared to like a lot of other people day one.
I see. Yeah, but because that's my perception of it. Because like when I join an FPS, I'm literally like the guy in the movie that dies first.
Yeah.
Like every single time, right? Like I'm like the dude that like just is an extra that like I'm like the Star Trek guy that like gets on the planet first and gets eaten by a monster every single time, and you're the monster. So
Yes.
I just stopped playing them. And like just like go into like my own games that are like super deep, like Path of Exile stuff. Like really I love
Yeah.
games that are like deeply analytical and shit like that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm. Did you have any time to play any other games other than FPS?
No.
Do you have time for
No.
anything?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do
Make
for
time.
what do you do outside of this?
Watch shows. Fun right now. Hike.
Mm.
Hiking is nice. Yeah.
You hike?
Yeah.
I hike too. I hike in Seattle,
Yeah.
one of the best places to hike.
Oh, that's what I've heard. Yeah,
It's really
I've been
good.
hiking. I've been hiking for like I've been getting really into it the past 3 months. I've been enjoying it a lot.
It's all you can do, man. Is like in
One of
COVID.
the only things, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's honestly such a great thing to get into if you're someone that's like trying to find something to do nearby, dude, just go on a fucking hike. Go on a hike. Fucking fuck.
It's
Go
super
hike.
cathartic.
What is the saying that like the fucking saying that's like kind of like negative towards
Take a
someone?
hike.
Take a hike. Yeah, that's it.
Take a
Take a
hike.
fucking hike.
Take a fucking hike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a bunch
But
of
it's true.
places to do it? Where do you live in LA? Like what area?
Oh, like I don't want to be too specific. Can I just DM you?
What's your what's your address and social security number, please? You can tell me. I'm just curious.
Okay, hold
Because
on,
I know
let me
the
just
area.
DM
I
you.
lived there for a bunch of years.
I'm typing it in Discord. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay. Is there a lot of hiking around there?
I mean, not like within like 5 to 10 minutes, but
Ye-
like 20 minutes out. There's like,
Yeah.
you know, you go to Runyon, you go to fucking Griffith, go to
You own a car?
there's some other like. No, I don't have a car yet. Soon though, probably.
You want one?
But then, yeah, there's a lot more things that I want to like do that I need a car to, and I just don't like. I mean, Uber is just honestly, it was getting to a point in time where like I actually looked at the numbers and I was like, dude, why the fuck am I Ubering? Like
Oh,
it actually is so like
financially?
expensive, like financially. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, this is actually fucking costing more than just fucking getting a car.
Do you know what kind of car you want?
Not exactly. Something like I'm not like too picky, so just like something sedan, 4 door, like
I love
chill.
it, man. That's so cool. You're not gonna go for like a freaking Bugatti or something, like like Model S or
No.
something.
No. Yeah.
I owned one car in my life. It was a 1998 RAV4, and I
don't
had
know
it
what the
for
fuck
like
that is.
yeah.
The fuck's round four?
I think my car was older than you. Actually, was it? What year were you born?
99.
My car is as old as you. Yeah. That's like, insane. It's like a Toyota boxed car. Yeah.
RAV4?
A
I've seen
RAV4.
those.
Yeah,
Okay,
but it's like
RAV4,
an
got it.
older one. And dude, that was my shit, man. I just I drove that car forever. I ended up giving it away, and then like few years now, I just haven't had a car.
Mhm.
I'm really big on minimalism. Is this the place that you live right now? Is this your place?
Like, do I own it?
Well, no. I mean, like, do you have roommates? Or are you living alone? Like,
No, I live alone.
what's your take on like minimalism and like having a lot of stuff?
I don't like things that don't have like a function.
Utility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like sometimes people will get me gifts and like I know that I won't really use it and I will like really have an urge to like but I really don't want to because I feel bad. But I feel like it's like who I am though, you know? So it's like I feel like they shouldn't feel bad and I shouldn't feel bad. You know?
Are you talking about you have like a PO box that viewers give you shit?
No, I don't have. No, I don't have that. I
Oh,
just mean like just like friends.
I was gonna say, dude, I have a PO box where viewers give you. You should never feel bad about getting rid of that shit. I get the dumbest ass shit in that thing. Like, oh my god, I get like fucking like I got like like this thing. It's like a thing you can put fruits in, and you. Like, why do I
Black
have
chop,
this? Like,
yeah.
it
Those
just
are good.
I just have so much dumb shit that people fucking send me all the time. Like
Myth
so.
throws out extra chargers. You're right. I do throw out extra cables that I get sent with products. Yeah.
I've been in a mindset for the past like year or so of like
Mhm.
going super does not spark joy. And like I actually just got back into this. Like I met somebody who is really cool and like inspired me because they live out of like a fucking backpack, literally. And like I've always sort of envied that lifestyle. And I'm trying to like downsize super hard. I've got like a pretty small apartment in like Seattle, and it's just like a loft and like a living space.
Mhm.
But I really want to like get to the point where like I could move out of that bitch in like 30 minutes or less.
Damn.
Yeah, just like get like maybe I'd have to leave a couple of things, like just like a TV or something. But like I could
Mhm.
potentially do it if
Yeah.
it doesn't provide utility out.
Do you do you find like 30 minutes is a fucking small amount of time? Like, do you have a couch?
I do have a couch, but I feel like I could push that shit out into the street and just be done, right? Like, I'm talking about like you get
Uh,
so many like weird little knickknacks because you're big on this, like right? We talked about this a little bit on a podcast, like this decision fatigue concept.
mhm.
Like I wear the same type of, I have 7 of the same shirt, right?
Mhm.
And I have like the same bowl. I eat relative.
Wait,
I'm
you
doing,
only have 7?
oh, I have 9 because if I don't do
Okay,
laundry
I was
for a
about to
week,
say.
yeah.
I was about
We
to say,
can't
like,
go
how the
too
fuck do you
crazy
do
here.
laundry?
Yeah. I have 9 of that, 9 pants, and then like if I ever have to like go out to any sort of social situation, which I never do, I have like a couple of dress shirts, right, and that's it.
Mhm.
And then like the same thing for like food and nutrition. I do a thing called the health journey, which is like I'm on like this like it's been a kick for about like 3 months, and I'm gonna stay with it now. I think where I started posting in my Discord exactly what my nutrition is, and
Mhm.
people could just follow it. And it's like so I'm eating like relatively the same things, and like what I've done is like I've lowered my amount of like the amount of like mental energy I have to put into like root tasks has been like completely eliminated. So as a result, I can think about
Yeah.
really cool shit. I feel like you're on that vibe because I feel like you have like the same type of mentality where you don't try to like complicate your life like a bunch of extra shit.
Yeah, I think maybe not to the degree that you are, because I mean, I definitely have more clothes than you. Um, but yeah, I mean, I just don't like having extra shit that doesn't really serve me, like that doesn't have a purpose or doesn't like do anything for me right now. Like I don't mind like small shit that like doesn't get in the way. Like I have this that's just like sits on my desk. I think it's like a cool little like desk knickknack. Um, but it just like chills there. But like, let's see, what do I have? Something that's like, oh, like like his company sent me like they sent me looks at the other chair.
I did see that. I'm judging you for it a little bit, unless there's someone else that sits
Yeah,
there.
Travis. No. See,
Or
now I got one chair in my middle chair, and I was like, man, I don't really like this one that much. So then I went and got that one, and I was like,
so
I don't
that's an
really like
Aeron
that
back
one.
there,
Yeah, that's an
and
Aeron.
you're
This is
sitting
a
in Embody.
body.
Embodies
Yeah.
are fucking busted.
I don't know.
Oh, you're
Sometimes
still
I like the embody more. I think I chosen the embody.
no. I'm saying the Embody is my. So I've got a shit. Actually, it's exactly the same thing. I'm sitting in Aeron right now. I have an Embody at home. I
Mhm.
like it better.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's what you meant by busted. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
But
they're busted. They're really good.
2 chairs, I hate them both. No. Yeah, like so for example, like sometimes companies will send you like sometimes they'll send you like gift packages, right?
Mhm.
And it'll have like this knickknack, like a I don't know, like a COVID thing and like a UV like light to like cleanse your phone or some shit. And I'm just like, man, like I don't fucking need that. Don't send that. I would honestly, no. I would genuinely appreciate just them sending me a letter, or like just sending me like
A
just sending me
handwritten
snacks. No, like just send me
consumables.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
send me snack. I think Samsung sent me snacks recently, and I was like, dude, this is fucking great. Like, good fucking job, man. Like, this is perfect. It goes in my cupboard. I eat it when I fucking want it. I try it out. If I don't like it, I throw it away, like whatever. And it's just good. Like that was so good. But like when companies get crazy and they like send out their like gift shits and like it just has some like wild shit and like a fucking Rubik's cube in it. I'm like, why did you just send me a Rubik's cube?
I use like
Don't
that
send
loot
me a
crate stuff.
Rubik's cube.
Yeah.
I don't need a Rubik's cube.
I used to get so much shit when I was in like on esports teams because like we had like one company that like sent us CS:GO knives for every knife in like CS:GO, and I just had like a pile of knives in my office that I just hand out to people like, here, just take one. Like I've got so many of them. Yeah, like this is, I totally understand. I love consumables too. Like my business partner for a Christmas gift literally just shipped me Texas barbecue, and then I got Mo into it. Well, like and like that's like the best gift that you could possibly give me, right? Like just give me barbecue. Yeah. Give me something that I could eat. Like makes me so happy, right? I don't want like this thing that I have to like I have to like keep.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. But
man.
Yeah, overall it's just like that's how I feel about that. And then I feel like shit for does that categorize like into minimalism, I guess? Like I feel like a lot of people just don't want random shit. I don't know, maybe people, but like speaking to my case, like then I feel like shit throwing away some of the shit that they send me that I just don't want. Cause I'm like, I don't know who the fuck is gonna want like this random thing that I just got sent from this company. And I'm like, what's the quickest and most convenient way to just like get rid of it? Throw it in the garbage, down the chute you go. I was like, and I'm like, fuck. It's like, I don't know, that could have been sent to somebody else.
Do you care about having like a big place? Like, do you like, is this a pretty small, is it like an apartment? Is it a house? Like, what is it?
Yeah, it's a 1-bedroom apartment.
That's chill.
Yeah, pretty chill.
Yeah. So
I think I'm gonna get a 2-bedroom place though. Next.
How come?
I want to have it off like a stream room, like a dedicated room for my setup.
Oh, you want to have like a separation between the two?
Yeah.
Dude, that's big. I only do work at my office. And then I have a home setup and a computer where I try not to work on it. I don't succeed all the time, but like streamers really underestimate the like feeling of having a place where this is where you do your work. Like that whole like at home, like roll out of bed, your bed's behind you, and like you're just like, and you just start like you're streaming. Like that can get kind of toxic.
Yeah, I'm not into that. I've been, especially like as I moved into my own place, I'm like, my desk is like currently like in my fucking living room, like, obviously. Like it's definitely not in my bedroom. But like that's definitely like, one of the things that I like really doubled down on, and like I won't go back to that if I don't have to.
Yeah.
Like ever again. Is like having my desk like in my bedroom. It is like my bedroom is literally just like that is where you sleep. That is your sleep domain.
Yes, same.
Yeah. Like I don't have a TV in my room. Like I read my fucking Kindle and go to sleep, or like this is where I watch TV. Yeah, out here. Like I don't watch like Netflix in my bed or anything.
You read books?
Yeah, I read books.
What?
Nobody
reads books on Twitch. I've only met one other person that never read books. What kind of?
I feel like there's some people that read books.
What kind of books do you read?
Right now I'm reading Investing for Dummies.
You read nonfiction.
I wanted to learn more about investments. Yeah, a little bit. I'm reading a little bit of Harry Potter as well, because I never read the Harry Potter series.
Dude, that's actually way more rare than you might think.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Which?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, I read I read about 2 books a month if I can, and then I listen to usually like 1 or 2 audiobooks. Do you listen to like nonfiction?
Listen to nonfiction?
Oh, sorry. Or so do you consume nonfiction, like self-improvement stuff?
Yeah.
Like what?
The only book that I've read and completed so far. There's one that I'm reading right now. That's Oh fuck, what is it called? I think it's called Predictably Irrational.
Yeah. Huh.
I've been reading that. It's a pretty good book. I like that one a lot actually. And then I read Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules. Yeah, Predictably Irrational. It's a good one. I like that book a lot actually. Pretty interesting. Um and those are like the only two like self-improvement like nonfiction books that I've kind of read so far. Um but yeah, and then like Harry Potter, the first and I think the second book I've read,
I already have
and I'm
it.
just going through those series.
Interesting. It's already one of my wish list books.
Oh,
I must have heard it from
nice.
somewhere. I also read 12 Rules for Life. What did you think of that book?
I think it has some good points, and then I think it has some. I think it's like, so for me, I feel like I was sort of like raised without, like so I had like a father figure,
Mhm.
but I don't think that like my dad had the time or like the know-how to like properly explain things to me as a kid. Like my dad would always tell me like, walk up straight or like, fix your posture.
Mhm.
But he would just say that. He really wouldn't go into like why I need to like worry about that type of thing or like like the implications behind it. And I think in that book, he does a good job at going into like some things that are like that. Um, and I kind of like appreciate those elements of the that like hit on those things where it's like sort of like the fatherly figure type things that he gives like reasoning behind as like how to present yourself to like the world in a sense.
I love Jordan Peterson gets more shit, especially on this platform, that I think like it's nuts. But like, I love his take on the individual responsibility that we have, and I think it vibes super hard with what we were talking about with like taking accountability as influencers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure how I feel about his whole take on individual responsibility. I
Mhm.
definitely like because he goes off the rail for me when he talks about like it being single-handedly the most important form of responsibility. I
Mhm.
think is like his like be all end all. And I don't know how I feel about that entirely, but I think it is a big deal to like have individual like ability and to take like have accountability for sure. Like
Yeah.
I agree to it to like a certain level, I think, but I'm not sure how I feel about it being the most important.
The idea is that you can't possibly create any positive outcomes in the world unless you've sorted through yourself first. Right.
Mhm.
So like while there might be
Yeah.
a higher ideal to try to like influence other people and get people to a better place, you can't do
Mhm.
that until you've sorted through your own, like, or as he would say, like conquered your own dragons. Like you have to take up that sword and you have to fight those monsters before you can actually like help other people do that. And Gandhi has a quote about that too. Is like chip
Yeah.
off the own blocks on your shoulder before you try to sculpt any other statue. That's where I think it comes from.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, yeah, I agree. I think a lot of that has helped me become somewhat of a better person as well. Like I feel like a lot of the things that I read that I've like read in like 12 rules have been things that I've been like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like I agree with that to some degree. And then I think it's kind of nice hearing like it's kind of nice like being reassured on some of the topics that he talks about. Like for example, like I think my favorite chapter out of that book is like shoot, what is it called exactly? Something along the lines of, you know, take care of yourself like you're responsible for taking care of yourself or some shit, right?
Oh
Are you
yeah.
familiar with that one?
It's
I don't know the
it's
exact what it is.
care about yourself as if you treat yourself as if you were someone that you had to take care of and care about. Like if it was your family
Yeah, yeah.
member, yeah.
Yeah. Or if
But
you were hired to like be a babysitter, if it was like your pet,
treat
like
yourself as your own boss.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think
Yeah.
I think that was like that's one of my favorite chapters out of the book, personally, that
Why
I
did you decide to read
like
that?
vibe with a lot. I decided to read it because I found him on YouTube. Just like
Mm.
watching some of his shit on YouTube and hearing him talk on YouTube. And like to be honest, I think like X amount of years ago, I think I was just very interested in like the way he fucking talks. Like he sounds smart, you know.
Yeah.
But I want to see. I was like, okay, let's see if this guy actually got some fucking when things are taken into context and it's put into more like long form, like does he have shit worth like hearing? And so I wanted to read his book and see what he was about.
That's so cool, man. Yeah, I think out of talking to a lot of people, like meeting a number of people that actually actively have read like nonfiction self improvement is like super rare. It's like really really cool that you read that. I think
Mhm.
that's a habit you should keep up for sure. I set a goal to read 12 books a year a while back, which is
Oh
one book.
damn,
One well, it sounds
that's
like
what's up.
one book a month, right?
Yeah,
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 it's like I was like, okay, if I can't get through one book a month, I'm a bitch. Like I just like that's got to be something I can handle, right?
yeah.
And,
I recently, sorry if I interrupted you,
no, please.
but I recently set up this thing for me called A's and B's. It's on my calendar. It's a 30-day it's like a 30-day challenge, and it stands for apples and books.
Wait,
And basically,
walk me through this.
it's like an initiative for me to start eating more like when I do snack or want something sweet, eat more vegetable, like eat more like fruit
Yeah,
instead of like fucking like candy and shit. And then like to like read every day, like try to read every day
I think
for like 30 days.
out of all the things that I've done in my life, reading a book a month has probably been one of, if not the most beneficial things to like growing my like repertoire of knowledge over the course. Because like now that I'm like 8 or 9 years into that, and
Mhm,
that's like the thing is like most people stop learning after school, right? Like they go to high school
mhm,
or they go to college, and then they kind of like figure that they have their skills kind of set in. If
mhm.
you keep learning after you go to school, you like become superhuman. And like a book is so fucking overpowered because it's like literally the entire focus of one individual for like 5 years thinking only about that subject.
Yeah.
So you just like you dive into like a non-fiction book and you read it. You've got like you're 12 books ahead. Then next year you're 24. The next year you're 36. And next year and you're
Yeah.
like all of a sudden you've done this for 5 years. You're like 50 books ahead of like all nonfiction, and you're just this crazy giga brain. You're like, well, that reminds me of the time when Nietzsche said like, and it, like he's like, and
Yeah.
it's like anyone can do that. It's like it's really neat. Yeah, I've done that. That's like it's
Mhm.
been a big part of my life.
I think you said an interesting thing right there that like kind of resonates with me heavily is like, learning past school. Like I think a lot of my most important learning has happened um fucking outside of school. Like and not to like this school, but it was more like a personal thing on me where like I grew up and I just like was the type of person that like didn't value fucking, and I would like go to school and I'd be like, oh fuck it, I'm here. I might as well pay attention,
Yeah.
like might as well try. Cause it's like one of those things is like I like it's another example of like me and the type of person I am where like if I'm committed to something, like if I'm stuck there and it's the only thing, I might as well fucking do it well to some degree. But like while I was in school, like I fucking tried. Like I was literally the type of dude that would tell other kids to shut the fuck up because I was trying to listen to what the teacher was saying.
Really?
Yeah, 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 yeah. but because like I was there, and it
Yeah.
was like I don't have a fucking decision, so I don't want to hear you talk about you fucking Becky behind the trash can last Saturday, dude. Like I'm here for this, okay? I'm not here for you. Um, and so
Straight
fuck, where was I even
academics.
going with that?
You're
But yeah,
saying
so I was the type of person that like didn't
yeah.
really like, and then outside of school, like I didn't fucking study really or like put much effort into it, like outside of it, which I wish I would have, like looking back on it now, but I guess like also without some, so it's weird.
Nothing
But
I did in college got me here.
yeah.
Not like I majored in business and psychology, and I just like the best thing I got out of college, I think, was like doing enough hallucinogens to kill an elephant, and basically like through there like developing my consciousness, right? But like through as far as
Mhm.
like actual academics, I feel like I didn't go anywhere.
Mhm.
It just wasn't
Okay.
useful to me. Like at the level that you and I are at when we need to think about like what we do during the day, it's entirely creative, right? And increasingly as jobs evolve, they're all going to be like this because automation is going to automation is going to shut out everything else.
Mhm.
If you can get a machine to repeat a thing over and over again, then that's just going to be a job that doesn't exist anymore. So
Yeah,
the only jobs
I
and the
agree with
only
that.
things that are going to be left are going to be things that require like high creative energy to be able to apply to the world so that other people can identify with it and they can say, I fuck with that. That's something that I like. So like in
Mm,
that sense, school is just really ill prepared to get people into the mindset to be able to do that kind of thing.
interesting.
Hmm.
What do you think? What do you think the time frame on something like that is
The time frame, what do you mean?
for like that reality to set into place?
Oh, like pure automation, purely creative jobs. I think
Yeah.
in first world countries we're already getting there. Um, but I think like this will be. I mean, people say the whole like singularity movement, which is where like machines supposedly. This is some fucking deep ass shit, but like machines
Hmm.
supposedly start to evolve faster than we can evolve them at is like around
Hmm.
like 2040, Google says, but it might be sooner. That's not that long. It's like 20 years.
Hmm.
You're gonna be like 35. And you're gonna, yeah, so that's why I'm glad I'm gonna be dead. You're gonna have to deal with this shit. I'm
41.
fucking, yeah, I'm gonna be dead, and you're gonna be dealing with fucking Terminator robots and shit. Like I'm good. But yeah, Google says I think it's 2042. They think it's gonna be,
Oh,
and so,
okay.
but then before that, we're gonna see like, okay, like let's give a real good example. Like right now, there's a lot of jobs that involve like driving shit around, right? Just like trucking, driving shit on
Hmm.
highway. That's all gonna like once electric trucks like come along and autonomous vehicles get to the point where they don't have accidents. Like that's just gone.
Yeah, they're donezo.
It does it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like, how do you, and like we were talking about education, like, how do you retrain people to, what is that? Like, what is that truck driver going to become an influencer? Like, what are you going to do? Like, how are you going to train that person? Is he going to be doing Twitch streamer?
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really, I actually think that this is basically an insurmountable problem that we eventually I land on UBI, universal basic income is the only answer.
Universal basic income.
The idea
What's that?
that we pay people a monthly amount to exist. And
Hmm.
it's not perfect, but I don't know how you reincorporate all these people into the workforce without
Hmm.
without that. I also worry about what people will do when they're fucking bored. What if you like a lot of people just
Yeah.
need a job, do something.
Hmm.
And you've ever seen those like you ever been on YouTube and seen that little fucking cooking robot? It has the two arms and it just makes fucking anything. It can make like 5,000 things and it costs some
I haven't seen it,
okay, there's this robot
but yeah.
on YouTube and it's got two arms and it just
Hmm.
slides around the kitchen like picking things up. And then it
Hmm.
makes whatever the fuck. And like that's going to be in every restaurant. You see, so like we have a huge problem.
Yeah.
If we
No,
yeah.
I've thought about this a long time ago where, well, not a long time. I've thought about this a little bit where, it's like, what the fuck happens when automation takes over a fucking large majority of the jobs? And like, there's a huge, like, there's a huge discrepancy with when it comes to like the amount of people working and like the amount of jobs available
Yeah.
or the amount of people willing to work and the amount of like jobs available. And I remember like talking to my mom and I was like, yeah, it's like, it's either like those things start like, this is like my fucking high schooler thoughts. I was like, it's either like, people just fucking, people that, the world becomes a better place and people have to work less and they can still get their goods, or it's like, okay, well, let's go to war. It's like,
Let's go to war.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, companies don't want to shake up and change and give people shit. It's like, oh, well, what the fuck are people left to do? Die?
Yeah.
Or you like, I guess universal basic income. It's like, okay, yeah,
But then you still
you
got
have
a
to like
problem
pay
of
people to exist. Yeah,
you pay people to exist, but how do
yeah,
you make
you have to find
value?
some way to give people things, right?
Well, you have to find some way that people feel that they have purpose in life too, and that's the big problem. Is it's at the point that we're at now. Like, think about being a top tier Twitch streamer and like how much like creativity and how much like people are gonna meme, right? They're gonna say, "Oh, like you just sit and play games all day." Like, it actually
Mhm.
requires so fucking much to be a top tier content creator. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's an insane undertaking. It's why there's 5.6 million people that try it every month on the website, and literally only like 200 that succeeded at top level. Right,
Yeah.
but it's like very dystopian in the people that succeed. Like, not everybody can become an influencer or like a content creator or like a highly creative job. So where did these people go?
Yeah. Don't know.
Tough
Good
problem,
question.
man. Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think about this shit all the time. No, we went off the deep end, sorry.
Yeah, we did a little bit.
I
It's
don't know
all good though.
if you like this kind of stuff, but
No, I just don't. I'm nowhere near. I just don't have many opinions on it because I don't have any sort of knowledge around it.
yeah, I mean, you're at the top of it's kind of weird to think about, but you're at the top of an emerging market, right? Like
Yeah.
live media and content creation is pretty much like the thing happening in the world right now.
Hmm.
And you're right in front of it. So you have a lot of value in this area. You may not think you do because you're a thought leader in this place. You're a thought
Someone in
leader
my chat said
because
you need a whole team behind one influencer. Not necessarily. In terms of like, I think in terms of like the amount of money you can make as an influencer and the actual amount of people you need like working behind you, you'd be shocked. Like, you really don't need that many people behind you to like make a lot in terms of like being an influencer.
it
I
depends.
think. I don't know. What would you think, Devin?
I think so. I mean, I think it depends. Well, okay, so like let's compare it to this is the easiest way to do this, right? Let's compare it across the board, one to one to businesses. Okay, so if I want to make
Hmm.
$1 million business, I want to make $1 million a year. I probably need a pretty good amount of employees to do that for most cases. Now, like, let's say I
Hmm.
design a mobile app, maybe it's just me and some dude, but that's pretty rare. Like, for most businesses, I would need a pretty good amount of people in my business. I'd say, like, at least 7 to 10 to be able to make, like to run like 1 million a year.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you all these support networks, accountants, fucking, like product people, salespeople. Okay, if an influencer wants to make $1 million a year, like he maybe needs an editor,
Yeah.
you know, like just because he's just getting paid by
Yeah.
platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's far less people. Now there's examples of influencers with big teams that actually do really well, and like the person
Yeah.
that comes to mind for that is like Iman, like Pokemon, right?
Hmm.
Like she has like a team of like 15 people, and she's just like crushing. She's got
Oh
agents and
fuck.
managers and shit, and like just like all kinds of stuff. I like examples of people like that, like where there's a lot of like content creators that are actually like Ludwig's another example of this, where he like he's got a business. Like he's
Hmm.
not just a businessman, he's a businessman, comma, business, comma, man, not just a
You've
businessman.
been you've been listening to too much Jay Z.
So I think that the bigger your team gets as a content creator, um, the better it is a lot of the time, because I think more content creators need to consider themselves like their businesses
Hmm.
and take that more seriously. Because like being a brand, like let's say that you wanted to do your own clothing line. At the stage that you're at, you could do that, and that could be a business. That's what Kanye did. He basically
Hmm.
took being an influencer, like got into Yeezy, and then the whole thing became a thing of itself. And those are the
Yep.
kind of things you can think about if you start trying to think about things as a business person. You're like, what can I actually create off of this audience and and then it becomes its own thing. That's like something like 5 years down the line you start thinking about. You know, okay, I've got this audience cultivated, but what could I actually do as far as like impacting like a business ecosystem in this way? And there's tons of possibilities that way. A lot of people do it through apparel.
Yeah.
You know, Syndicate, do you know who that is?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He was
Syndicate.
one of the people that I like originally watched on like fucking YouTube. Like
Oh, really?
low key inspired me to be yeah, do content and stuff. Yeah.
Syndicate straight up, man. How big's his apparel line? Like I think his apparel line is bigger than his any brand stuff that he ever did.
Yeah, I like his apparel stuff a lot,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, so something to think about. Like, you could literally, we did this whole thing at the agency accidentally, right? The last like 3 months, we've been building out a merch section for like our influencers, and we literally just like accidentally started like an end to end store solution that is probably going to be bigger than anything else we're doing in our business.
Mm.
And it's just because like you just think about like, okay, where else can I add value? Like you think about every single thing economically comes down to attention, and you've got attention, right? Like at the end of the day, selling products, selling services, creating impact on things, charity. philanthropy, altruism, changing things, attention. When you start thinking from that foundation, changes everything.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Wait, so you're saying for your agency that your guys' merch solution was gonna be in theory could be bigger than anything that you guys are doing right now?
It will be. Yeah.
Oh, will be?
With that,
That's interesting.
totally by accident.
Because I feel like when it comes to like merchandising, I feel like it's always like I feel like it's a thing that typically like generates less for people compared to like the other like avenues. Or maybe I'm thinking about it wrong.
Yeah, you are. I don't. Okay, let's use 100 Thieves as an example, right?
Okay.
100 Thieves is not an esports team. I don't know why we call it an esports team. I don't know why we call FaZe Clan an esports team. Okay, less than like 15% of these guys' revenue, that like their annual revenue is off of any kind of like, so how are you monetizing an esports team, right? You're monetizing it through sponsorships.
Mhm.
But sponsorships pay like a very small percentage of the total amount that a team is making. When 100 Thieves has a clothing drop, right? We're looking at like a 70 or 80% margin on that. And like I could tell you some numbers offline when we're talking sometime.
Mhm.
It's staggering. I mean they're an apparel company. They're making more money off that
Mhm.
than probably anything else they're doing.
Interesting.
And TSM, I mean, is in like a pretty similar place with like I think TSM has always done better with sponsorships than other teams. And this is there's a feeling in my chest right now where I hate doing this. It's like viscerally terrible, but I have to say that Reggie is incredible at it hurts so bad. Oh, I hate it. Ew. Blah! Okay. But Reginald is incredible at getting sponsors associated with TSM in like a meaningful way. He did it with Red Bull, and he's done it with
Mhm.
he's done it with a lot of these like really good sponsors that he's actually actively brought into the space. Sometimes he cultivates those relationships for years, and it's one of the specialties that TSM has. I'm sorry, I just have trouble with it coming from my background. Okay, it's difficult, difficult, but it's true.
You got it out.
Yeah, it got out there. It's there. Now I can delete the VOD. He's very good at it. And I think Reginald has really pioneered a lot of like esports sponsorships, but still like as a percentage of the revenue of esports teams, it's so small compared to like apparel, compared to like most esports teams don't make any money, right? They just take on a shitload of investment and then they pay their players like an
Mhm.
absurd amount and they lose everything.
True. Pepe laugh.
Yep. I don't know. I've kept you a long time, man. I hope the talk's been okay.
Yeah, it's been good. I
Yeah.
had a great time.
Can I ask you like one more like closing question, and then like we're
Yeah, for
probably good?
sure.
Okay. Uh, if you had any kind of, I think this is like the most like one of the most productive questions, so I always leave it for the end. But it's like if you had any kind of like advice, and you put yourself in a place where you've got a lot of people watching you who are trying to get motivated, trying to become successful in their life, they're trying to like build good habits. What would be the advice that you give them?
Hmm. Let me think. Damn. That's a big question.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of really good answers, I feel like, but
Big question for a
I
big
really
man.
I really do think accountability is really important. And I think the best way to one of the best ways to hold yourself accountable is by having people around you that will hold you accountable. So maybe my best piece of advice for people that are trying to genuinely improve and trying to become better people are to put yourself around people that are also trying to become better people. And that's difficult to do though. And then my tip to doing that is like put yourself in more positions to where you can meet more people, to where you could have more interactions and figure out and be around and discover more people in general so that you can find more people that are like-minded like you and are willing to hold each other accountable. Yeah. I think that was probably it's probably it.
Ollie, dude, like I don't think I've ever met somebody that's your age, that is as mature and as just fucking straight goated as you. I am so glad that somebody like you exists on this platform. Just
Oh, thank you.
straight up.
Thank
And
you very
I
much.
really appreciate what you do and the thoughtfulness that you put into your content creation. It is something that I have really respected about you. And like I saw immediately when we got like acquainted on the podcast, and it's just an honor that you're on this platform. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, man. 100%. Thank you for coming for this. This is like really cool, and I hope
Oh, it was
hope
a
it was
good time.
valuable.
Yeah,
Yeah. Good
it
shit,
was.
man.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Have a
You
good
have a
rest of
good
your
day.
day.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Talk to you soon.
Appreciate it.
Peace.
Toodles.
We're good, man. That's Myth. Let's go. I hope you guys had a wonderful talk. I hope that was good. I think that was one of the best talks of all time that we've had on this show. Super thoughtful, like a lot of different like positions, and this is like, yeah, definitely all time. That dude thinks different, just straight up. Like he is a very very unique individual in so many ways. It's really incredible to take a person that's like just thinking about who I was when I was 21 and looking at the amount of work and the amount of development that he has already done in that period of time. And what may or may not have come through in that talk was like the when you're in esports at like a really competitive level, it really forces you to like constantly evaluate yourself and continuously like work on yourself and like identify these flaws in yourself, because from like a competitive standpoint you're doing that all the time. And one of the things that I think was like most valuable for my life was like my competitive martial arts career, because I was doing that. Like I was like constantly reevaluating who I was. I was failing really hard. Like when you lose, right? Like if you lose a match in Fortnite, you just lose. If you lose a competitive match in like martial arts, you lose. And like you have to contend with that. Thank you for all the follows, by the way. It's super cool. Appreciate that. It's awesome you guys like this. If there's new people here, my name's Devin Nash. I only stream part-time. And when I do, I talk about like business topics or things like on the platform, stuff like this, self-improvement type stuff. And then my full-time job is I run an agency called Novo, which is with my business partner, Matt. And we represent influencers and we do creative ads for brands and shit. So I'm mainly here part-time in the week because when I'm done with work or whatever, to talk with people. It's a huge honor for you to be here if you're new. Thank you for coming. We do once a week or so. We do these talks with people to try to kind of like break down like what makes people successful and just like kind of bring more deep talk to the platform. And I loved that talk. That was like so valuable on so many levels. Oh man, that was good. Super, super good. Really, really good talk. So like what I saw from him is like I really saw like a transformation that happened in him when he went through that period of time with like the Fortnite boom. And it's just so crazy to be like on top of the world like that and then have to contend with like the fact that I think that like if I ever actually managed to do it, it's just like a big if, like getting in front of Ninja for something like this, like Ninja and Myth like have the same kind of storyline here where it's like that like your popularity like on a game or something goes up at that level and then you have to like kind of like contend with like going back down and figuring out what's actually important to you and realizing that like it wasn't even about the concurrent viewers to begin with. Like it doesn't even matter that you were in that position. It's just what matters is like that you were what Myth realized is like what matters is like his core community and building the environment that he wanted to create. And I vibe with that so hard because like when I was playing League of Legends at like constantly when I was streaming, I knew I wasn't living like authentic to my dharma. Like I wasn't living like which that's a Buddhist term for like my purpose, like my meaning. I was like I wasn't doing something meaningful on the platform. And today I live like I'm a I'm a small streamer in comparison to like a lot of the people that I'm around. Part of that's because of the hours I put in, but I really try very hard to be deliberately valuable. Like I want every single stream to mean something and to be valuable to people. And so in doing so, like I think a lot about like how Myth thinks about like cultivating a community that is extremely valuable and is extremely thoughtful and extremely deliberate in the way that we approach things. And that comes at the cost of viewers, right? It comes at the cost of like of everything. It comes at the cost of subs. It comes at the cost of donations. It comes at the cost of income. It comes at the cost of follows. But it's super worth doing. It's super worth doing. And so like it's really rare that I've met people